From Minneapolis, Minnesota, American League Division Series Game 4. The Oakland A's one victory away from the championship series. But another huge crowd will try to help the Twins stave off elimination. There is an air of desperation inside the dome today. Oakland manager Art Howe has been in this position before. The A's led the Yankees 2-0 in last year's division series, only to see New York storm back and win 3 in a row to shock them. His lineup today, it's identical to Game 3. Ray Durham and Scott Hatterberg started that game with historical back-to-back home runs. Terrence Long and Jermaine Dye also belted solo shots, and Oakland won the ball game 6-3 to take a 2-1 lead. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Metrodome. I'm Dave O'Brien, along with Tony Gwynn and Rick Sutcliffe. Thanks so much for joining us for Game 4. Desperation time for the Minnesota Twins. And certainly that's the case with Eric Milton. He gets the start on a bad knee today, and he certainly has to stay away from the problems that the guys before him have encountered, and that is in the first inning, the A's have scored 8 runs in this series.
Well, the first inning really has been a key to this series. It's tough when you're constantly trying to come from behind, but this Minnesota Twins team is very confident today. A big part of that reason is their starting pitcher, Eric Milton. He's a power guy. He's pumped up. You like a lot of strikeouts. But Tony Gwynn, the Oakland A's don't lack confidence.
No, they don't. They're coming into this series knowing that they've done exactly what they've wanted to do. They put runs on the board early, taking the pressure off of their pitcher. But today is going to be the first left-handed starter that they've faced in this series. And so it's going to be interesting to see if they'll be able to continue putting runs on the board early.
Well, they'll try it against the left-hander Eric Milton. 13-9 during the season, the Twins' #2 starter all year. He hasn't won since shutting out the White Sox on August 1st, so it's been quite some time. He missed close to a month at the tail end of the season with a cartilage tear in his left knee, and it still hurts him. But even with the knee surgery, Milton was 3rd on the club in innings pitched. Defensively now, the Twins come back with the same defensive alignment they had in Game 4. Torrey Hunter had that ball eat him up on the very first play. Tony Gwynn, this went for an inside-the-park home run.
It did, and, Torrey Hunter's an aggressive outfielder. And I think early in the game, it was their first home game. They're obviously pumped up about being at home. He maybe played that a little bit too aggressively, and it goes for an inside-the-park home.
Hunter, a Gold Glover, one of the best in the game. Here are the umpires now. Mike Winters makes the calls behind the plate. Tim McClellan at first. Fielding Culbreth at second. Jerry Crawford at third base. Eddings and Joyce on the lines. Good luck to the umpires hearing anything today. Another crowd of about 56,000 ready to scream their lungs out in Minnesota. Durham bluffs the bunt, takes a strike, and we are underway for Game 4. Ray Durham started Friday's Game 3 with a scintillating inside-the-park home run, the first in the history of Division Series play. Scott Hatterberg followed moments later with a solo home run. That was off of Rick Reed. And that, too, is a record. Back-to-back homers to start a playoff game.
Well, Ray Durham's been, for the first time in this series, starting a game. He's starting out from the right side.
The lefty's pitch fouled back to the screen. And Milton is in front 1-2. But the 1 and 2 batters have done such a good job for the Oakland A's. Yesterday, there were 3 hits out of the 2 slot alone.
Well, that means that the starting pitchers have not done their jobs keeping them off the bases. You want to put a 0 up in the first inning. The key is to get the first out. The key is to throw a strike to that first hitter. Milton's done all of that.
Durham hitting .331 in the series, but he strikes out swinging. 1 away for the Oakland A's as Milton gets his first man.
And sometimes it's amazing for the first hitter to go up there. If you're an Oakland fan, he's been getting on base in the first inning, making things happen. And now, really, for the first time in this series, they've been able to get the leadoff man. That's going to give Milton a lot of confidence out there to continue to go right after people.
And you know what, Tony? That fastball is basically in the same location of the home run he hit yesterday, but there's a lot more on it today.
Right through there for a strike on Scott Hatterberg, who hit .280 for the season. And he's had a pretty good division series as well. He had a pretty good day yesterday with a homer, a single, and a walk. So he was on base 3 times. Tejada will follow. Another strike at the knees. And Milton is locked in.
I tell you what, that's what you want to do as a starting pitcher, is to have that leadoff guy go back into the dugout telling everybody, get it going, big guys, because he's getting it up there in a hurry.
The 0-2 just missed the corner. So Durham fanned, and now Hatterberg behind in the count. 7 pitches and 5 for strikes for the big lefty out of State College, Pennsylvania. Too high, 2-2.
That's the whole key, Tony, talking with Oakland, is to work that pitch count on Milton. He's only going to throw 90 to 100. They'd like to have those over in the 4th or 5th.
Yeah, well, you know, it's important not only in that respect, but this is the first lefty that they face, too, so they're going to have to be a little bit more patient.
Milton going for 2 straight strikeouts, but it's popped up instead, but that's not routine. Here comes Jones. Here comes Hunter. It falls in. It dropped in, and heading for second, Hatterberg. He's safe. And once again, a ceiling ball eats up a couple of outfielders. It's just amazing how many times we've already seen that in the 2 games here with the Minnesota fielders.
Well, this ball goes up in the air, and Jock Jones doesn't see it right off the bat. And when he does, he's coming in full speed to try to make a play and just can't get there. And it really doesn't matter if you're the home team or the visiting team. It is so difficult to look up into that roof and not be able to find the ball.
You know what, Tony? I agree with what Art House said yesterday. This really isn't baseball when things like that can determine the outcome.
Absolutely. I mean, Milton makes a great pitch, gets Hatterberg out in front and pops it up anywhere else. Basically in Major League Baseball, that's going to be an out.
It's not the easiest play in the world, but it's fairly routine for a big league outfield. Yeah. It went for a double, and here's Tejada, the man who may be MVP, and he takes a strike. Miguel 0 for 4 yesterday, although he did drive in a run in the Oakland win on a sacrifice fly. And pretty much the A's have been able to take this 2-1 series lead without a lot of production from their top offensive force. Tejada has not had a standout series. At the moment, hitting .154. The runner at second. He brushed him off the plate.
Tony, I know that had to impress you, Tejada taking that first pitch strike.
Yeah, it did. Because, you know, with him, he's got to be a little bit more patient. And I think one of the things that he's talked about is that he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. And to be a good hitter, especially in postseason, that's what you have to be willing to do. You have to be willing to see a few pitches, not be afraid to fall behind in the count because you trust your ability to get to the baseball.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled back by Tejada. The first inning has been so important for the Oakland A's in taking 2 of the first 3 games. In game 1, 3 runs. Now they would lose that contest, but come back and win the next 2 with a lot of help in the opening frame.
I'm sorry, go ahead, but I was going to say it does something to the pitcher's psyche when you can put runs on the board. If you're the Oakland A's, if you're the Oakland A's starter, and they're putting runs on the board for you, you're obviously going to feel more comfortable going out there for that bottom half of the inning or top half of the inning.
Milton comes in and swinging a drive out to left field. Jones didn't see it right away. Now he backpedals to make the catch. And Hatterberg back into second base. Jones actually started in a couple of strides. So he's fighting it out there. Very tough to see the ball in this series. This is Mike Quade, the first base coach of the A's, working with Eric Burns. And this is before the game. Some routine flies. First one dropped in. He's going to give him another chance.
Where'd it go, Tony?
Yeah, we're trying to find the ball there.
Where's it at?
I'm looking myself. I don't see it.
I mean, it just disappears.
And it does. It is so hard because as a Major League outfielder, you're not used to having to go out there and try to track a ball. Once it leaves the bat, that's usually guys are not afraid to take their eye off the ball and run to a spot.
This place is built for carnivals. You know, to have them there, not a baseball game.
Well, yesterday there were 4 or 5 plays that made it feel like a circus, and we've already seen one here today. Chavez with a fly right center field between the outfielders Hunter and Pedire on the book, and Hunter makes the grab. A long running catch by Torrey Hunter that inside the Parker ate him up yesterday, but he helps out Milton big time with that catch. 1 man left, and here come the Twins. Well, for the first time this series, the A's don't score a run in the first inning. 0-0 as Minnesota comes up to hit for the first time. And here's a look at their starting nine. Jock Jones will start it. 27 home runs for Jock during the season. Christian Guzman, the number 2 hitter, had a rough day yesterday. 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. David Ortiz is back in there as the designated hitter. He does not have a hit in this series, and they're up against the right-hander Tim Hudson. He's working on 3 days rest. 15 wins, 9 losses during the regular season, and he in effect is the right-handed ace in his staff of aces for the Oakland A's.
You really look for him to make an adjustment today, Tony. He was up in the zone that first ball game. That's not typical of Tim Hudson.
Yeah, he's usually down in the zone, and that will be the key for him today.
Defensively out there, Terrace Long, Dave Justice, Jermaine Dye in the outfield. How about this game-winning catch on August the 7th? Manny Ramirez just hit a home run. Wait a minute. Terrence Long over the fence, brings it back with a terrific play.
First ball swinging. Jock Jones knocks a foul straight back. And if you talk to the Oakland A's, if you talk to them now and right after that catch, they believe that's what started that winning streak. That thing really lit it up.
To a man, they all point back to that play Terrence Long made.
Electrifying. The 0-1 to Jock Jones. It's now 0-2. He was 2 for 4 with a double, a walk, and a run scored in Game 3. But Minnesota fell anyway, 6-3 to Barry Zito. Jones knocks a foul off to the right.
Well, right away, Hudson is establishing that he's going to try to be down in the zone. He got a fastball up the first pitch, and then look at that split finger down.
And what about the last 2 swings by Jock Jones? That's what Ron Gardenhire, the manager, was talking about. We did a good job laying off that pitch in Game 1.
Hudson rocks and fires, and he struck him out swinging. 4 pitches, 4 swings. Guys, remember how yesterday started. The Twins swung at everything in the first inning.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with swinging with this pitch, Tony. I mean, it's up in the zone. You can handle that once in a while. And then, you know, they're going to be aggressive. You can't take that away from this young Twins team.
Yeah, and I talked to Jock this morning before the game started, and he mentioned that they want to be aggressive in the strike zone. They want to be aggressive with pitches that they can handle. They don't want to chase balls out of the zone, because when you chase them out, obviously Hudson's not going to give them anything to hit. If you're chasing balls, he's going to continue to throw you balls.
Here's another very free swinger. He takes ball 1. Christian Guzman 0 for 4. He struck out twice yesterday, perhaps because of that record crowd. He was even more aggressive than usual. But it's going to top 55,000 again today, it appears. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I was just really amazed with the confidence, Tony, that the Twins had today.
You can sense it, you know. I think getting that game out of the way yesterday is going to allow them to relax today and play the kind of baseball they played all year long.
And they're facing a right-hander.
And that's the other thing, is that, it's not Mulder, it's not Zito today. It's Hudson. They've faced him once. They've had some success against him. And so they felt like coming into today's game, they were going to be a lot more relaxed than they had been.
Well, the Twins and their fans believe that this series is going back to Oakland. Little tapper. Hudson can't get it. Here comes Ellis. He scoops and fires. A nice play to get him. Guzman retired 4-3, and they're 2 away.
Any questions about why Ray Durham's not playing second base now?
No.
This kid can do it. We saw him yesterday turning a double play from one of the games in Oakland. How about taking this base hit away from Guzman, who can fly down that line?
Look how quick he gets rid of this ball. And he really makes it look easy.
You know, you don't always have to be like Tony Gwynn and get 3 hits a day. You know, you can go out there and take a couple away from people and still contribute to a win.
Hudson to face Corey Koski. Just 2 for 13 in this series. But the hits are a 3-run homer and an RBI triple, so he has made them count. David Ortiz, the DH, on deck.
I'm sorry. The thing with Koski and Ortiz, to me, when I watch them stand there and swing the bat, they look comfortable. I mean, they're not rushing out there trying to make something happen. And I think the manager, Gardenhire, made a great point this morning. He said, you know, these are the guys that got us here, and these are the guys who are going to have to, you know, they're going to have to swing the bat. But when you watch them swing the bat, they're very comfortable. They're not chasing a whole lot of bad pitches.
You know, Tony, I even like watching Koski take pitches.
Yeah.
Because his hands really don't move a whole lot. I mean, he starts his body, and he just really seems to be comfortable. He recognizes pitches. That was a great pitch there by Hudson. But you know what? It was a pretty good swing, too.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you look at those numbers right there, and I'm sure a lot of people want change.
Hatterberg will take it himself. He touches first, and it's a 1-2-3 start for Tim Hudson. And so we are scoreless after the first inning of Game 4, but Jermaine Dye, who homered yesterday, he was the key hit of the game, will lead it off for Oakland.
Welcome to our baseball studios. Alongside Jeff Brantley, I'm David Lloyd. Let's take you back to last night in Anaheim, a crucial Game 3 between the Yanks and the Angels. Tim Salmon hitting the first pitch he sees from Steve Carsey, 2-run shot, and the Angels win it 9-6. Jeff, how much trouble are the Yankees in?
Angels are looking good, but David Wells is on the mound today. This series is not over.
Wells going up against Washburn in the National League. Braves and Giants series tied at 1 there. Maddox and Schmidt and the Cards try to finish off the Diamondbacks up 2-0 in that series and at home. Dave, back to you.
All right, David, JB, thank you very much. There's a line you don't hear often in October. The Yankees face elimination. How about that? First pitch into Jermaine Dye for a strike. Hitting .308 for the series with a home run yesterday. That game he was 1 for 4. His home run in the 6th inning. And both sides said that home run, after the Twins had just tied the game at 3 with 2 dramatic runs in the 5th inning, was the key hit in the game. And he comes up with a base hit here to left to lead off the 2nd inning against Eric Milton.
He's been a key player for them the last 6 weeks of the season. We all remember last year in the postseason, he fouled the ball off his leg. He broke it. Tony, he told me before today's game, he said, it took me 300 at-bats to get to where I could swing aggressive again.
Yeah, and it's not the type of injury that's easy to recover from. And yeah, the last 2 months of the season, he started to swing the bat with some authority, started hitting some balls out of the ballpark.
I think like a pitcher, you throw a pitch and they hit a line drive back at you and it hits you. You get a little, tentative.
Yep.
Well, as a hitter, if you swing and hit a ball off your own body, you got to be concerned about that pitch as well.
Here's David Justice, a runner at first base, nobody out. Milton from the stretch, and it's popped up. Skied into foul ground to the right of the plate. Mankiewicz is there, and he seems to have a real good idea whenever anything gets airborne where he has to go. And if he can afford to take his eye off it, he seems to know this roof better than anybody.
Just give him the gold glove right now for being able to catch those. Nobody else can. Yesterday, Mark Ellis was charged with the only error of the series so far for Oakland. The Twins have made 4. But before the game today, Art Howe explaining that. It was the pop-up between him and Hatterberg. Hatterberg had plenty of time to catch it. He was underneath it, and Ellis collided with him. Art Howe covering his rookie second baseman, saying, I told him before the inning started, anything in the air, you go get, because of the trouble Hatterberg had earlier, and that was the confusion.
On a list of bizarre things that happened yesterday, that was number 6. Ellis the hitter now. Art Howe trying to get his team into the league championship series. The last time the A's were that far into the playoffs was 1992, when they lost 4 games to 2 to the eventual world champion Toronto Blue Jays. A win today clinches this series. Ellis takes it low.
Dave, that's what Art Howe has always been that way, Tony. I mean, even as a player, he's honest.
Yeah.
Not all managers would have said that.
No, you're right, and that's Art Howe. And I played for Art Howe in Puerto Rico like in 1981, and he was still playing then, and you knew that he had those kind of skills that were going to make him an outstanding manager. And I'm not surprised that he's pretty forward about things. He comes right out and tells people, what are you going to do, what he expects from you.
Here's the error from yesterday that Rick Sutcliffe was talking about.
Well, you can see what happens there. I mean, the manager told me to go catch everything, and he was hollering, I got it, I got it, I got it. The first baseman, if he hears the second baseman holler, supposed to get out of the way, but you can't hear here. Here.
Here.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Ellis. Milton on the inside corner. Ellis tried to jackknife to sell the call, and Milton Milton ate up that inside corner for his second strikeout.
We got a big difference in location on that fastball today as well. Is that a generous inside corner? Well, Przinsky will tell you it was, because he brought it back to the plate thinking himself even it was off the corner. But that's what happened yesterday. I saw Oakland just dive into that outside corner constantly all day long. Milton's not letting them do it.
Terrence Long, a .240 hitter for the season, .273 in the series. He hit one of the 4 Oakland solo home runs yesterday, and that, by the way, means that Milton has faced 8 batters, and he has thrown a first pitch strike to every one of them. Keep an eye on that today.
Yeah, but he's throwing it at about 94 miles an hour.
And that's
on the corner.
You know, when you can throw one 94, 95 miles per hour as compared to 88, 87, makes a huge difference.
Long slices that one foul out of the range of Jock Jones, but as we found out yesterday, not much is out of the range of Jock Jones. He made a spectacular catch, leaping into the stands in foul territory, risking life and limb, banging up against a hard metal railing to make a great foul ball catch. The count is 0-2 on Long.
You know what they want. And Eric Milton's the kind of power pitcher that can give it to him.
He has struck out 2 so far. And the lefty to pitch. No, he'll throw over.
One of the things that happens when you're throwing first pitch strikes is that, you know, the Oakland guys on the bench are going to pay attention to that. When you're throwing first pitch strikes, they're going to open it up and be a little bit more aggressive early in the camp. Where, you know, coming into this game, they felt like they had to be a little bit more patient.
Guy edging away from first, 2 out. A little bit high, and Long took it. Pretty good eye there. 94 miles an hour with that swifty.
I love what Eric Milton did there. All right, he knew that Jermaine Dye heard the crowd. They're wanting a strikeout. Jermaine Dye thinking maybe he'll forget about me and I can go. He didn't. He threw to first. It calmed the crowd a little bit. But Przinsky, Tony, was sitting on the outside corner. You know that by throwing the first, T. Long took a quick look. He almost froze him on that fastball in, changing location.
The 1-2 pitch popped up, and that'll make the seats. One question today may be, if Milton tweaks that knee again, how much pain can he pitch in? He was in a little bit of pain in his last start. Remember, he had the knee surgery for the cartilage tear and missed almost an entire month.
You know, Dave, I watched him in warm-ups before the game, and he, like Tim Hudson, did the long toss thing, and he was running around acting like an outfielder out there. So I think he was honest when he told manager Rod Gardenhire that he was okay and good to go.
2 out, 1 on. No score, and it's in the dirt.
You know, Tony, you'd know better than me, being an everyday guy. You get to this time of the year, and you don't even think about what's going on from the neck down, do you? Everybody's sore.
Right, everybody's kind of beat up, nicked up. And, you know, we all as players, you know, dream about playing in these type of games, you know. And so you're not going to, I mean, as long as you can go out there and contribute and be a part of what's going on, you're not going to worry about a little soreness in your shoulder or your elbow or your knee. You're going to go out and try to do the best you can.
2-2. He fights it off, so Long is still alive. We are in the second inning, and we welcome you to Game 4 of the Major League Baseball Division Series. The Oakland A's trying to wrap it up today with a victory. They move on to the League Championship Series against the winner of the Anaheim Angels New York Yankees series, and the Angels lead that 2-1 after a big win yesterday. Milton trying to give this crowd what it wants and strike out Terrence Long. Popped up down the line. Jock Jones running hard. He pulls up in foul territory. So no play for Jock Jones there.
You know, one of the things you look for when you're watching a game like this is, you know, we talked about it a little bit with Koski and Ortiz, is guys feeling comfortable at the plate. Even though Milton's throwing 94 miles per hour, even though he's got a good breaking ball, Terrence Long is looking pretty relaxed to me. He's battled off and fought off some tough pitches. And as a pitcher, as a player, these are the type of things that you're looking at, because later on in the game, maybe he'll be the guy that steps up there and takes some great at-bats or some great swings against him later on in the game.
He's working that count.
And he is. He's working the count. He's fouled off some tough pitches.
He's fouled off 3 two-strike pitches in this at-bat. And this will be the 8th pitch. And he fouls off another. But he hit that one pretty hard. Nearly pulled it into the corner for a double. That would have scored Jermaine Dye all the way from first base.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about. He fouled a ball straight back. He fouled one off towards down the left field line. This time he tries to come in. He pulls the foul down the first base line. Sooner or later, you feel like he's going to get a ball to hit, and he's going to put a pretty good swing in.
Milton with tremendous stuff. He tossed the 5th no-hitter in Twins history. In September of '99 against the Angels, he struck out 13 in that game, and he strikes out long here with a curveball. That was a serious yacker. He strikes out the last 2 A's in the inning. And here comes Torrey Hunter, the Gold Glover, trying to get things started for the Minnesota Twins. Bottom 2 from the Metrodome. 0-0 here. David Ortiz to lead things off against Tim Hudson. Rick Sutcliffe, Tony Gwynn, Dave O'Brien with you. And a very busy baseball Saturday continues at 4 o'clock. The Yankees and the Angels. Anaheim leading 2-1. At 4 o'clock Eastern, the Braves and the Giants. And then at 7:30, it'll be the Arizona Diamondbacks against the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis club trying to sweep. That's on ABC Family, and all coming up today.
He knew he was going to take that first.
Well, he's 0 for 8 in the series, and this guy's has been, for the most part, a series with absolutely no controversy. But if there is a little starting to bubble up, it is in Ron Gardenhire's decision to go with Ortiz once again as the designated hitter. He is 0 for 8. Now, Bobby Kilty hit over 300 against right-hand pitchers for the year. But he's staying with Ortiz as the number 4 hitter, as the cleanup man, even though he has not looked very good at the plate.
You know what, though, Tony? Ron Gardenhire said before the game that when you talk to the opposing managers, the one guy they fear most in his lineup is David Ortiz.
Yeah, he's the guy that, it's like I was saying a couple of at-bats ago, even though he doesn't have any hits, he's going up to the plate and he's taking good swings. He only chased 1 pitch, and that was yesterday when he popped out on the first pitch, 1st and 3rd.
Just low. As Hudson came close to making him 0 for 9.
That was a key to that ball game, too. That was in the 5th inning. Koski had hit the triple, scoring Jock Jones. And like you said, I mean, 1 out, man on 3rd. First pitch, jam shot, pop up to the 3rd baseman.
Line foul, but hit hard by Ortiz. Maybe his best swing of this division series.
And the thing about it is Ortiz is one of the guys that got him here.
Yep.
And just because you're 0 for 7, 0 for 8, doesn't mean you're going to all of a sudden change, the pieces of your puzzle. You got to stick with these guys.
That's over-managing there.
Even if you're facing elimination.
Exactly.
That's it.
A 2-2 from Hudson. And again, a piece for Ortiz. Torrey Hunter next, and then Doug Mankiewicz. The Minnesota Twins have never allowed an opponent to celebrate a playoff clincher on the floor of the Metrodome. In '87 and again in 1991, it was the Twins who celebrated here after winning Game 7 of the World Series. In '87 against the Cardinals, and in '91 a great series against Atlanta. Ground ball up the middle, diving and knocking it down, Ellis, but he will not get it. Ellis did all he could on the turf, and had he gathered it in cleanly, he might have had a shot at Ortiz. It's a base hit, and the first off Hudson today for the Twins.
What an at-bat, Tony.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you think the monkey's not lifted off his back now? You think he wasn't thinking about the fact, hey, I'm 0 for 8, and people are wondering why am I in the lineup? And sometimes a hit like that takes the monkey off. Now you can relax, kind of take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm involved now. I'm being a part of this.
They said before the game it felt more like Godzilla after about 5 Domino's pizzas, but it's off his back. And here's Hunter. Hudson working from the set for the first time. Hunter tries to lay down a bunt, but it trickles foul. Strike 1.
That got me.
I tell you what, I bet you he did that on his own.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for it, but you know what? That's that aggressive style of the speed game that Minnesota has had all year. They just use that speed to put pressure on the opposition, and a lot of times they make them look silly. Look at Chavez right there. Look at how quick he is. I mean, he not only is athletically talented, but he's got great instincts too.
Yeah, he does. Both of these teams have young players who play like they've been around for 5-6 years.
Ortiz at first. Fouled away as he's swinging that time. Torrey Hunter drove in the game-tying run in the bottom of the 5th inning yesterday, and it looked for a while like the Twins would win Game 3. But after the home run by Dye, Oakland went on to win it 6-3. But boy, was it ever some kind of loud.
It sure was.
In this building. The decibel level after his hit rose to 107. I mean, that means you cannot hear someone talking to you in full voice 3 feet away.
Yeah. Well, the momentum had definitely shifted after his base hit.
The 0-2 from Hudson. He struck him out swinging. Made a great pitch on him. Second K in the book for Hudson.
Hudson was really establishing his ball down in the zone. Look at a bottom fall out of it.
Tell you what, we talked about the confidence from Minnesota today, but Tim Hudson is 82-40 in his career starts for these Oakland A's. No lack of confidence there.
Well, he was on a roll coming into October. He ended the regular season with an 8-game winning streak.
You know what, too? You look at those 15 wins he had, 9 losses. He had 10 no decisions in his starts this year. 8 times he left with the lead.
Right.
That's 23. That's Barry Zito if you get those victories.
Mankiewicz showing bunt there. Doug Mankiewicz vowing before the game, he said, we are not going to let them celebrate on our field. We're going to make them go back to Oakland. Ron Gardenhire hoping that he is true to his word, his Gold Glove first baseman. A runner at first, 1 out, and a strike to the corner.
Well, it was in Oakland that Doug Mankiewicz hit a home run in Game 1 off Tim Hudson, one of the 2 Minnesota Twin homers.
Hudson lasting only 5 1/3 in that one, allowing the Twins to rally from a 4-run deficit to win the game 7-5 over the A's.
You know, Tony, he was constantly trying to get inside the left-hand hitters in Game 1. That's not Hudson's strength. You and I were talking before the game, watching him warm up, how he is on the first base side of the rubber, which is different for a right-handed pitcher. Well, he's a different type pitcher. He uses that sinker, he uses that split finger, all of that movement running away from a left-hander. Well, you don't want to take that good stuff and miss off the plate.
Right. And that's what he was doing the other day, is that, he tried to start that ball in off the plate and get it to run back to the inside corner, but it was running to the middle of the plate.
Ortiz leading, ground ball picked off by Hatterberg, trying to start a double play to Tejada, and he threw it away. That ball up against the side railing. So they get the lead man. That almost went into the dugout, so a break there for the Oakland A's, meaning Mankiewicz has to stay at first base.
I don't think Miguel Tejada would have made much of a quarterback. I know there's a lot of things that he can do athletically, but that's all you do here. You got to lead your receiver, which was Tim Hudson, and he's just not able to do that. He's trying to watch the bag. He's trying to watch Hudson at the same time. And the key to that is just like a pitcher when he's starting a double play at second, or a catcher when he's trying to throw a guy out stealing. Just look at the bag. Just throw the ball over the bag.
And a huge break that ball didn't go in the dugout. It hit that pad over there and kept it in play to keep Mankiewicz from getting to second base and being in scoring position.
Another ground ball there. 6 batters have faced Hudson, and nothing has been hit in the air.
You know, it's amazing, too, that doesn't go as an error. You know, I mean, you can't assume a double play, and there's no runner advancement, so no harm, no foul.
Michael Kadire hitting against Hudson with a runner at first, and now 2 away. No score in the second inning. Kadire 3 for 8 in this series. Right-hand hitter from Chesapeake, Virginia. Fastball in there for a strike. Hudson's not a big guy. He is 6'1", about 164 pounds. But like all of the aces on the Oakland A's, Mulder and Zito as well, there's an almost unnatural poise about them, a confidence. They just don't seem to be shaken. in any situation. He's only 27 years old, but he pitches like he's been in the league for 10 years. That's foul into the glove of Chavez.
Yeah, Dave, you're right. These guys, they have come to the big leagues, and not only the pitchers, but guys like Chavez and Tejada and Long, they feel like they belong here. And even though they're young, even though they haven't had a whole lot of experience, I mean, they're polished professionals out there, no question about it.
They're going to belong for a long, long time.
Yes, they are.
2 strikes on Kadire, the right fielder. Hudson says yes and checks Minkiewicz. Flying into the alley. Here comes Long, and he will make the catch. We talked about Terrence Long at the top of the broadcast, how his great catch in Boston lit the fire on their 20-game winning streak. Well, he helped out Tim Hudson with a sinking line drive, and it remains 0-0 in Game 4. The A's trying to win the series. Still scoreless here in Game 4. The A's and the Twins in a 0-0 game. Lots of baseball coming up on Sunday. The Diamondbacks and the Cardinals will play Game 4 if necessary at 1 o'clock Eastern on ABC Family. The Twins and the A's, they play a 5th game if necessary at 4 o'clock Eastern on ABC Family or ESPN2. The Braves and the Giants, Game 4 at 4 o'clock Eastern on ABC Family or Fox. And the Angels and Yankees, if it's still going, Game 5, if need be, at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. And we thank you so much for joining us here today. Stay tuned for the results of the games throughout this Saturday to find out where you can watch on Sunday the resumption of the playoffs. A hard ground ball by Hernandez, but gobbled up by Koski. 1 up, 1 down in the 3rd inning for Oakland.
I'll tell you what, I can't figure any of these series out. I mean, that's the exciting part about it. Not knowing who's going to win. The world champs are down 2-0, but now you hear Scott Rowland's not going to be able to play the rest of that series, possibly the rest of the postseason. That's going to kind of equal things out for Arizona when they lost Luis Gonzalez on the same type of injury.
Yeah. You can't tell me Arizona, if they can win today's game, aren't going to be confident knowing they got Johnson and Schilling, sitting back there in games 4 and 5. So,
and Randy Johnson's going to be mad. He wasn't happy with that first one. Normally, after one like that, he just dominates the next 10.
Randy's happy and smiling. He's scary.
He is.
But when he's ticked off, you don't want to be within a mile of him.
Well, I think all these series have gone that way. I mean, to me, this series, Oakland, Minnesota, and the Yankees in Anaheim would be the most intriguing series because, obviously Oakland's got the starting pitching, but these Twins, they've gone through a whole lot this year, and they've really battled their way to be here. And I think the same could be said with Anaheim. Obviously, the Yankees got a great team, but Anaheim is a team nobody thought would be there.
Milton's pitch to Durham is up and away. Ray Durham struck out in the 1st inning. So he is 0 for 1. But Milton has delivered 10 consecutive first pitch strikes. If he continues that the rest of the day, you have to like his chances, even with Tim Hudson on the other side.
And right away, to start this inning off, Hernandez hit the first pitch he saw because he started everybody out with a strike. But he made a good pitch. It was down in the zone. He grounds out to 3rd.
The 2-2 fought off again by Durham. Eric Milton grew up in Pennsylvania, and he went on to star at the University of Maryland. But he was born practically right on the campus of Penn State, the town of State College, where his dad worked. He followed the Yankees, and he idolized Roger Clemens, even wearing the Rockets' number 21. It's the number he sports. The off-speed pitch is flicked foul again by Durham.
Some of the Twins talking before the game when Eric Milton has hooked up against his idol, Roger Clemens. They say they know that he's going to do everything he can to throw harder than the Rocket does. You're going to see 97, 98 on every single fastball. Well, we've seen a lot of that here today.
In search of his 4th strikeout. He won't get it here. Hunter backing up, still backing up, and makes the catch. Hit well by Durham, but the Metrodome holds it. 2 gone.
I wondered after that first at bat when Ray Durham struck out, he injured his left thumb yesterday on that inside the park home run, a collision at home plate with A.J. Przinsky, the catcher, and it was heavily wrapped during batting practice this afternoon, and looked like he had a pretty good swing there, but just a little bit late. You wonder if that injury has something to do with it.
Here's Scott Hatterberg, the first baseman. He's connected for a double, 1 for 1 today. And
how tough is that, Tony? I mean, the guy throws a fastball 95. The curveball, though, is 70 miles an hour. That's a big difference.
He struck out Terrence Long last inning on it, and when we're talking about him throwing first pitch strikes, it's a big boost to be able to throw whatever you want, whatever pitch you're looking at, to throw it for a strike. And that, those, when he mixes it up like he's mixing it up from the hitter's standpoint, they got to just try to see the baseball. They can't be going up to the plate looking for one particular pitch.
Well, they better not be looking for ball 4, because that's probably not coming. He was 3rd in the American League in fewest walks per 9 innings, so he's going to be in the strike zone.
The number 1 guy in fewest walks per 9 innings was Rick Reed, and he had problems yesterday. He was wild out of the zone with walks, wild in the zone, allowing 4 homers.
That really hurt him. On deck, Miguel Tejada.
He started him off with a breaking ball for a strike. He threw 2 fastballs that were out of the zone. Comes back with a 2-1 changeup, and Hatterberg is way out in front. And so you're sitting there 2-2. You have no idea what's coming. So all you can do is look for the baseball.
Well, this crowd thinks it knows what's coming. They want another strikeout to end the inning. That is the first 3-ball count of the day, though, by Eric Milton.
Oh, he had him. He had him locked. That fastball is on the inner half of the plate for a strike. There was nothing he could have done with it. But that human element involved caused him to miss it.
Payoff pitch and fouled away by Hatterberg. We were talking about Milton and his Yankee connections. The Yankees actually chose him in the first round of the 1996 draft out of Maryland, where Milton became the school's all-time strikeout record holder. And when he was drafted by the Yankees, one of the first things he did was he went out and got a tattoo of the Yankee logo on his back. Oops. He walks his first man of the day. It comes with 2 down in the 3rd.
Oh, there's a big difference between walking your first guy and walking the guy who hits in front of Miguel Tejada. He'd like to have that at bat over with, and in particular that 2-2 fastball he missed with. He'd like to have gotten it closer to the zone, maybe take a little bit off of it. This is trouble here, and the crowd even knows it.
And the last 2 A's hitters have really made him work. 8 pitches to Durham. He flied out, and 7 to Hatterberg.
And we were told 90 to 100 was all he was going to be able to throw today, Eric Milton.
Miguel Tejada 0 for 1. He has yet to really punish the Twins in this series the way he punished so many clubs during the regular season.
He was looking for a first pitch heater there, and he got it, and he fouled it straight back. And we saw a little bit yesterday. He was getting a little frustrated because he was chasing balls out of the zone yesterday. Today, that's a ball that was elevated. He'd love to have back and put a good swing on it, but fouled it back.
Both sides offers up there with men on base so far today. Up and in on Tejada. I'll tell you what, Scott Hatterberg, every time you look up, he's on base.
He's having a great series, and once again, it just goes to show how much faith Art Howe has in him. He put him out there at first base against the left-hander today, and he's swinging a bat, being very productive at the top part of the lineup for Oakland.
A double and a walk today, on base 3 times in Game 3. The Homer Hankies are out, and when the Twins come to bat, it is a sea of Homer Hankies. That's just off the outside corner.
You know, Art could have gone with Randy Velarde. Velarde pinch hit yesterday in the 7th inning off a left-hander and hit a triple. But you know what? He played. He knows what it's like to be an everyday player, to be a reserve, and he knows who's got the best chance.
And that's knowing your ball club, just like Gardenhire on the other side. He knows his ball club.
Milton to Tejada. That one ripped into left field deep. Jones turning around. That ball is off the top of the fence, and it is gone. It skipped out of here. So for the first time in the series, Tejada puts a hurt on the Twins. It is 2-0 Oakland. I mean, that was a clothesline. You could have hung your wash on this one. A wicked line drive by Tejada.
How about this being a game of inches? That ball went out by 1 inch, hitting right on top of the wall. If it comes back in, Hatteberg would not have been able to score there. But look at it, right off the top, it skips up into the stands, and wow, somebody pulled the plug on that volume.
So the A's have hit 5 home runs here in the Metrodome in the last 2 games. But this is a 2-run shot off of Milton. Now, he has a reputation as a fly ball pitcher, gives up a lot of home runs, but that was no fly ball.
Well, to me, the mistake wasn't the pitch he made to Tejada. I mean, it wasn't a bad pitch. Fastball inner half. The mistake was walking Hatteberg.
And so the Twins, facing elimination today, are behind here in the 3rd inning, and Chavez, the batter, checking his swing.
And I'm sorry, Dave, the other thing with Tejada, that ball's elevated, and you know the pitch selection is okay, but where he left it, you want to get that ball down a little bit.
Chavez pops it into left. Jones creeping near the line and makes the grab. But Milton gives up the gopher ball. Tejada drilling a line drive just out of the Metrodome. It is 2-0 Oakland. League most valuable players do stuff the way Miguel Tejada's been doing it for about 5 or 6 months. His 2-run homer has given the Oakland A's a 2-0 lead as they try and win this division series. It is Game 4, the Major League Baseball division series here on ABC Family. We welcome you back to the Metrodome. A.J. Brzezinski trying to get it going for the Minnesota Twins. He's had a good series. He's the number 8 hitter. Rivas to follow, and then the top of the order, Jock Jones against Tim Hudson, who is one cool customer and knows what it's like to pitch in big games in the playoffs. He did it last year against the Yankees in the 5-game division series. He started Game 2 and he beat them 2-0, and then he came out of the bullpen in Game 5. Now he allowed a solo homer to David Justice, now his left fielder, in Game 5. And of course the Yankees won it. The A's want no part of a 5th game in this series. They're trying to knock the Twins out here this afternoon on their home turf.
Pitching on 3 days rest, just 77 pitches thrown in Game 1 by Tim Hudson. I asked manager Art Howe if he was concerned, and he said no, Sud. He said he's one of those throwback players. He'll be ready, he'll be strong, and Art Howe remembers when guys' normal rest was 3 days.
Inside too far on Brzezinski. Hudson up to 34 pitches at the moment, so not too bad.
Really, the only guy that's questionable as far as the bullpen being available today is Ricardo Rincon. 2 great innings for the Oakland A's yesterday.
It was spectacular. Rocketed, but foul up into that corner by Brzezinski.
Brzezinski seems like, for Hudson, he's the only guy so far that he wants to work him inside.
Well, you got to make an adjustment because he was 2 for 2 in Game 1.
He just kind of served him to left field in Game 1. And this at bat, Hudson's trying to pound him inside. He hasn't been able to get his fastball to run back over the inside part of the plate yet.
The righty will not deliver the pitch. Time asked for and granted. A.J. Brzezinski. Hudson came into the division series with a perfect 5-0 lifetime record against Minnesota. They roughed him up in Game 1. But he has a history of pitching very effectively against the Twins. Those numbers not including his postseason start. The 3-2 again. Would foul off to the left.
Well, what a hitter. Brzezinski this year representing the Twins at the All-Star game for the American League for the first time. He was hitting 40 points higher at the break than any other catcher in the American League.
Wound up hitting 300 right on the nose with 6 homers and 49 RBIs.
What's it like to hit 300, Tom?
It's a good feeling.
Line in the left. Justice coming on. He'll play it on a bounce. It skips on the rug and a base hit for Przinsky. I don't think he ever asked Tony Gwynn what's it like to hit 300. Ask him what it's like to hit 360, 350, 394.
Well, the thing that's exciting is having an idea. And it's like I talked about, he tried to work him inside. He got this ball up and out over the plate, and he does a nice job of just fighting it off and hitting it to left field.
I think they got to play little ball now. Rivas had 8 sacrifice bunts during the season. Not so much give yourself up with the sacrifice. Maybe try to push it to the right side for a base hit, but get somebody in scoring position and back to the top of the order.
And not try to get them all back with one swing of the bat. Just be patient here.
Chavez creeping in at third. He's thinking bunt, and it's low for ball 1. Przinsky having himself a fine series. He has reached base in 7 of 11 plate appearances in this series. That was his 6th hit.
And that's a good feeling, Rick, to be 7 for 11 in the postseason. You got to be feeling pretty confident about what you're doing when you get up in the batter's box.
That's some stretching. He will throw to first base a lot, Rick Sutcliffe. Not bashful at all about making lots and lots of tosses over there to Hatterberg.
You know, this situation, he's looking to get that sinker over the plate where he can beat it in the ground, let his defense work for him.
And by throwing to first, he was trying to see if Rivas would tip his hand, what he's going to do on this pitch.
Right through the chute for a called strike in 92. Runner at first. Rivas trying to stay out of a double play.
You know, I think unlike during the regular season, I think Ron Gardenhire might have to manage a little bit more right now than he did. You know, Denny Hocking yesterday, we talked about swinging at that 3-1 pitch when they were down by 3 runs in the last inning. Not seeing Guzman put down any bunch yesterday in these type spots. You know, in the past, those guys would do it on their own. As far they've not in this division series.
Wave and a miss by Rivas. That one ate him up.
You're not seeing the productive outs that they made during the season to help win.
And this is a great changeup by Tim Hudson. Rivas is way out in front of that.
Look at the location of that changeup too.
Tim Hudson won 20 games in 2000. That year he finished 2nd in the Cy Young voting. You know, in the past you might have said, well, that was Greg Maddux like that changeup. What's wrong with saying Tim Hudson like? The 1-2 fouled away. He's barely alive. Yesterday, Chavez started a dynamite double play. Rivas, the batter in game 3, tapping third, staying out of the way of the runner, and then gunning across for the twin killing. Well turned by Chavez and Hatterberg. So Rivas hit into that double play. Nobody out here.
Well, you know, Hudson has a whole lot of confidence in his infield here. If he can coax the ground ball, he's going to be confident that they can turn it.
Przinsky the runner. Hudson deals. Another chopper toward Chavez, but foul this time. I'll tell you what, by this point yesterday, our ears were practically bleeding in the Metrodome. But because of the 2-run shot by Miguel Tejada and the way Hudson has pitched, he's allowed just 2 hits and no runs. The crowd has certainly been silenced, at least for the moment.
And all it'll take is one swing of the bat and a base hit. I'm sure this place will become electric again.
Bounded foul again.
Just working these pitch counts, though, Tony, lead me to think that this game's going to come down to, you know, a setup type guy, you know, a Bradford or Romero. They're going to have to come in and get somebody out to get to those closers to determine the outcome of this game, because these guys are doing their job working the counts.
Well, they're much better at it today than they were yesterday. And even though they might not get the results they're looking for right now, later on in the game, that pitch count is going to start to get up, and Art Howe's going to have to find somebody to get him to catch in the ninth.
Yeah, but the Twins are down a game and they're running out of time. They got to start manufacturing some runs, which they have not done the entire series. Swinging a drive deep to the corner, but that's foul. But a shot by Luis Rivas Just 4 home runs during the regular season. He nearly tied it.
And I mean, these people, they rose up in unison when he hit this ball. Look at all the people get on their feet.
Well, that woke him up. One ball and 2 strikes on the second baseman. They have scored just 4 times since game 1 in their last 20 innings. Hudson gets Brzezinski back.
When you're trying to strike a guy out, you do one of 2 things. As a pitcher, you either go with your strength or you go to his weakness. Rivas has a weakness for a right-handed breaking ball, but that's not Tim Hudson's strength. He's a sinker changeup type guy, first of all.
The pitch. Off to the right, foul. He came back with a hard one there at 94. So he has thrown 8 pitches to Rivas. Before Brzezinski singled, he had thrown him 7 pitches.
And that's what I'm talking about. Those 6, 7, 8 pitch at bats, they start to add up as the game goes along. But somewhere along the way, somebody's going to have to get a big hit for Minnesota.
Oakland leading the series 2-1 after a big win on Friday. The pitch. Over but low. 2-2. Jock Jones waiting his turn. He's on deck. The A's want to go back to Oakland, but not to play the Twins. Go back as champions of this series. Swing and a miss. Hudson took something off and floated it by Rivas at 79 miles an hour for his 3rd strikeout.
You know, this ball club loves hitting in this ballpark, but it really wasn't advantageous to Luis Rivas. He's a 280 hitter on the road, just 230 at home. And to me, what it looks like, Tony, in the first 2 games of the series, he's trying to be a home run hitter here rather than a line drive type guy.
Well, you can tell from that swing with 2 strikes. You know, you want to shorten up and try to put the ball in play, but Hudson threw him a great changeup, and I mean, he was way out in front.
It was a 10-pitch at bat. We'll see if that benefits Jock Jones here. First ball swinging, hits it down the line, headed for the wall. It is a fair ball, and it bounces over the sidewall. And into second base with a double, Jock Jones. And because the ballpark couldn't contain it after the bounce, it costs a run.
Well, another thing that cost him a run was Rivas not advancing a runner. If he would have been standing on second, that ball going out of the playing field wouldn't have mattered.
I think Hudson just really missed badly on this pitch and left it on the inside part of the plate. Jock Jones just pulls it right down the line. Now, if this ball stays low and stays in play, I think Minnesota's got a chance to score a run there. But because it didn't and it bounced out, Guzman or Koski's going to have to get a big hit here for Minnesota to get back in this game.
So the crowd becomes a factor again here in the 3rd inning. 2 men on, 2nd and 3rd. 1 down for Minnesota as Al Newman talks with the base runner Brzezinski. It's the 4th double of this series, by the way, for Jock Jones. A base hit ties it. Here's Christian Guzman. He's 0 for 1 with a tapper to second. And he takes ball 1. So for the switch hitting Guzman, the question is it his turn in this series? He's a guy used to waiting his turn. He's one of 9 brothers and sisters growing up in a huge family in the Dominican Republic. 49 pitches for Hudson, but he's in trouble now.
We're only in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Minnesota's starting to be a little bit more patient.
Guzman, certainly not noted for patience, has the count at 2-0.
And this is a time in the count where you really want to be, because you're looking for a ball that you can maybe drive somewhere. 2-0, but Hudson's, his strength is his ability to keep the ball down in the strike zone. And with a runner on third base, you're looking for a ball up in the zone. And so from a hitter's perspective here, you really need to be patient and make sure that if this is the ball you want to swing at it, that it's exactly where you're looking for.
Hudson deals. Foul tipped at home plate. They count 2-1.
I like what Art Howe's doing right here with defensively having them in at the corners. You got a catcher as the base runner at third base. We talked about the great speed of Minnesota. Well, that's not 90 feet away down that line. You bring them in at the corners, you might have a play at home plate, keeping them from scoring a run.
Well, now it looks like Art Howe's going to have Hatteberg back up a little bit. Chavez is just inside even with the bag. And they know Guzman can run, too, so you have to be aware of a bunt, maybe a drag bunt or push bunt.
The 2-1 pitch. Chopper. Tejada will glove it and get it on in good shape to first base. Close play there. The run comes in to score, and that makes it 2-1. So the RBI for Guzman to chase in Przinsky. The runner at second base, Jock Jones, stayed right there. And with 2 away, that'll bring up Corey Kosky.
Really a good at bat on that changeup, staying back like he did, not pulling off of it. You see where the infield is positioned. You know if you play Pepper up the middle, you're going to put something on the board, and then you bring your big guys to the plate.
You've gotten back within a run, and now if you get a 2-out hit, it's like finding gold. I mean, those are hard to come by, and so Kosky's been swinging the bat pretty well for him, and if you can get a 2-out hit, you're even.
0 for 1 as he rattles a foul off to the right. He grounded out to first base in his first at bat. So that makes Corey 2 for 14. He's trying to drive in Jock Jones from second base and not the score. It's a desperation game for Minnesota. If they lose, they are done. But today there was a cool kind of confidence in their clubhouse. They certainly didn't look rattled, even with Rick Reed having his troubles yesterday and coughing up a 6-3 decision, which gave Oakland a 2-1 lead.
But we talked yesterday, Tony, them coming back and what it's like for the first game at home. You don't have a pass list like you do during the regular season where you just write them down and forget about it. You get tickets. You got to pay for them. You got to make sure that they get to your parents and to your aunts and your uncles and your brothers and sisters. And it was just something new for Minnesota, and once the game started, you could see it.
And I think they heard the stories of how it was in 87 and 91. They wanted to see for themselves. They're obviously excited about playing.
The 1-1 from Hudson, hit hard but foul. And certainly you can't overestimate the value of Ron Gardenhire being in the dugout. He was the third base coach during the 1991 World Series for Tom Kelly. And he could tell his team what to expect and how to react in a noisy building with 55,000, 56,000 screaming at the top of their lungs, and what to look for.
It's like we talked about at the beginning of this series. It's the little things. It's the little things that allow players to relax. And if you're an everyday guy, that first hit, boy, you can take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm playing baseball. For pitchers who's throwing that first strike or getting that first out, but coming home and being in front of this many people with this kind of excitement, you're going to be a little amped.
Just inside, Mike Winters would not grant the strike, although Hudson certainly thought it was a strike.
And I think what Gardenhire did with Ortiz shows that, I don't want my players to panic because I'm not panicking.
Exactly.
Borderline pitch on the inside part of the plate. Hudson wanted it. He didn't get it. But that's with Ortiz being out there. And it's already paid off with a hit for him.
Look at that, 26 pitches in this inning. So it's been a struggle here in the third for Hudson. Slice foul. He ran it right inside on Kosky, and he fought it off.
Well, he knows that strike zone, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Hudson is excellent at working both halves. He can work the outer half and the inner half. And If you're a good hitter, you know you got to try to figure out a way to cover both, because he's not going to just work you one way. He's gone away from him. He's come in. He's changed speeds.
Ortiz on deck. Jock Jones at second. A run in for the Twins. They have cut Oakland's lead in half in the third. Too high. 3-2. Let's go back to game one. And this was off of Hudson. Corey Koski knocking a deep drive into the stands as part of that comeback from Minnesota. They rallied from all of their defensive mistakes to win that ball game 7-5. They had fallen behind by 4 runs.
Just watch Koski's approach to the ball as Hudson gets ready to deliver the ball to the plate. I call it is real quiet. There's not much herky-jerky motion to the start of his swing. He's very quiet, very soft on the front foot.
The payoff from Hudson, and he missed with it. Ball 4. That's his first walk. It keeps the inning alive for the cleanup hitter, David Ortiz. He's marching up for Gardenhire.
It'll be a little bit easier for Ortiz to swing the bat this time, Tim?
I think so. You know, he finally got on the board. He got his first hit.
Now that base hit in the second inning, his first in the series. Peterson comes out. Again, Hudson just walked his first hitter.
I don't know if Rick Peterson gets enough credit for the job that he has done. He has really helped Billy Koch this year mature as a pitcher. And look at the 3 guys that he has brought along with Mulder and Zito and now Hudson here today. You know, the story yesterday about how Rick Peterson worked with Barry Zito his freshman year in college. Barry's dad, Joe, seeked Rick Peterson out to come help to get his young son on track, and well, he continues to be on that right track.
Well, each of the last 3 seasons, one of the Oakland Aces has won at least 20 games. Mark Mulder last year, Barry Zito this year with 23, and Tim Hudson in 2000 with 20. In each case, leading the American League.
I was really surprised that over the last 3 years, Tim Hudson has led all starters in the American League in victories with 53. 4th overall to Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and Tom Glavine of the Braves.
First and second. Ortiz 1 for 1 today. That's low for ball 1. And that's the 60th pitch of the day for Hudson. In game 1, he pitched a grand total of 77.
I think he upset Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, a little bit on that 2-2 fastball to Koski, where he thought he got it. It was clearly off the plate, but he started walking to the dugout. That zone may shrink a little bit.
I totally agree.
Slap toward the corner. Justice on the move. Will he get there? No! That bounces up into the crowd. Ortiz with his second hit drives in a run to tie the game. It's 2-2 in the third, and they are chasing Hudson.
All right, you're going to give the RBI to Ortiz, but half of that credit should go to that rookie manager for the Twins. Not panicking. It might be his first year, but you know what? Tom Kelly was telling us yesterday, he paid attention and he listens and he continues to learn. He didn't panic. He put Ortiz back out there, and he should feel real good about himself.
Ortiz 2 for 2. He drives in Jock Jones. So it's a brand new ball game in the Metrodome. And second and third, the inning's not over yet for Hudson. The hitter is Torrey Hunter. Fouled away and a vicious cut by Hunter, who meant to give the Twins the lead right there with one swing of the bat.
You know, you're talking about Koski being quiet, and I was watching Torrey before that pitch. I mean, he had so much bat movement going on. I think that if Hudson would have thrown the rosin bag up there, he'd have taken a swing at it. You know, that's just learning to control that adrenaline.
Absolutely, and that's the hardest part about hitting, especially in an environment like this. is just being able to take a deep breath and do the things you've done all year long.
This big crowd willing the Twins to take over the game. A broken bat dribbler. Chavez with it. Has to get rid of it quickly and does for out number 3. Well played by Chavez, the Gold Glover. But Minnesota, on the strength of 3 hits and an RBI double by Ortiz to tie it, have evened things up at 2 at the end of 3. A rally for the Minnesota Twins fighting for their playoff lives. They have tied it at 2 with Oakland. Here in Game 4 of the division series, Rick Sutcliffe, Tony Gwynn, Dave O'Brien with it, and here's Jermaine Dye leading off the 4th inning. And the number 4 gives Jermaine Dye chills, because not only is it the 4th game, but it was Game 4 last year in the division series against the Yankees when he fouled off a pitch which went slamming into his shin and breaking his shin bone and ending his season. So it was in this very game of the series that he was lost until the early portion of this season for the Oakland A's. 1 for 1 today with a base hit. It lays off the low one from Milton. And we go back to that injury. Jermaine Dye facing El Duque.
What was that?
Oh, those hurt.
It was Tony taking one right to the solar plexus. Ouch.
I jumped.
Yeah, those hurt. Well, he broke his shin. I've seen that happen. Gary Templeton did the same thing. Fouled a ball off the shin and broke it. And they take a while to recover from.
And he took a little while to get back from it. Although his second half very productive. He hit 18 home runs after the All-Star break. Pops it up toward the dugout. Minkiewicz giving chase, but it's into the 3rd row.
What an amazing job General Manager Billy Beane, along with Art Howe, has done with this club. Jermaine Dye coming over from the Kansas City A's. Johnny Damon came over from that organization. Picking up a guy like Dave Justice, just the experience of him in the clubhouse this time of year. I mean, how much can that help, Tony?
I think it helps a lot. I think really it's the difference in the series to me, because the A's bench has veteran guys sitting on it, and the Twins bench doesn't.
Hit sharply and down the line. That's a fair ball. It'll bounce and roll up against the fence and then carry him away from Jones. But Jermaine Dye will settle for the double. He's 2 for 2.
And this is what's happened. This is what happened yesterday. Jermaine Dye had a great at bat yesterday where he fell behind, hit a home run. Again, they try to get this ball in on him, and it's out on the plate. Does a great job of just staying with it, pulling the hands through. Jock Jones thinks he's got a chance to throw him out at second, but it takes a crazy hop out there, and he has to concede the double.
So yesterday it was Dye's home run in the 6th inning that broke the tie, which was 3-3 at the time. Well, here 2-2, and here's David Justice. So Eric Milton, he gave up a home run in the 3rd to Tejada. Now a double to Dye and a strike to Justice. Here in the 4th inning at the Metrodome in Minnesota. Game 4 of the division series. Oakland in front 2-1. Dave O'Brien, Tony Gwynn, Rick Sutcliffe joining you. And the scenario is pretty simple for the Oakland A's. They win, they move on to the league championship series. The Twins trying to force a Game 5 back in Oakland. Swinging a high pop up into right. And who sees it? Here comes Hunter way over into the alley to make the catch, because Kadire had no idea where that ball was. I mean, he completely lost it, and Hunter came over to bail him out.
How many center fielders, Tony, are really a threat to throw anybody out? They're so far away. Kadire had no idea. He's saying, please help me. Where are you at? Well, Torrey says, not only will I help you, but I'm going to help Eric Milton by keeping Jermaine Dye at second base. What an arm.
It's a great all-around play by a guy who gets a lot of credit for his plays, but he saw Kadire with his arms out, not knowing where the ball was. He ran a long way to get himself in position where he could even make a throw.
Mark Ellis, the hitter. He was caught looking in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1.
With a lot of center fielders, David Justice would have done his job there. You pulled the ball, you got it to the right side of the field, you hit it deep enough to advance a guy with dive speed, but not with Torrey Hunter out there. Little things that he does that win ball games.
Dye still at second. Ellis, who has had a standout series, 1 for 4 yesterday, and trying to untie it here in the 4th against the left-hander Eric Milton.
For Oakland offensively, he's been a different guy every day, and the bottom half of their lineup has been very productive for them.
I went up to Mark Ellis after manager Art Howe had told me that on the pop-ups I want you to take everything, and I said, Mark, I said Art told you to go get everything right in the air, and that's why you ran into him. He said, did Art say that? And I went, yeah, he did. He goes, okay, well then I'll admit he wasn't going to get in trouble with his skipper.
Yeah. Well, first-year player, likely to be the everyday second baseman next year as well for the Oakland A's. He hit .272 during the regular season and takes a strike. 2-2, 1 out.
Here's another former Kansas City Royal, that being Mark Ellis. Came over in another one of those three-way deals where Ben Grieve went to Tampa Bay.
Originally out of the state of South Dakota. You don't see many ball players.
Big Twins fan growing up.
Dye at second, and it's popped up. Out goes Guzman. Out goes Rivas. In comes Hunter. Hunter makes the catch. But I'll tell you what, everything hit up toward the roof is a mystery. Every fly ball, every pop-up, everything hit up there around the ceiling is an adventure.
Look at that roof. See those lights? See the Teflon material up there? It's very tough to have a fly ball go up and you take your eye off of it. So you have to keep looking up there.
It'd just be too expensive for them to change that, though. You think about the ballparks now with the retractable roofs and how it's not a factor. They've gotten that worked out. This stadium has just been around too long.
And you're talking about Gold Glove, spectacular outfielders and infielders were made to look like little leaguers on pretty routine pops. It's amazing to watch. Here's Terrence Long. He struck out in the second inning.
That's why you need a center fielder out there who's going to take charge. And for years they had Kirby Puckett running around out there, and he won many a Gold Glove, and now Torrey Hunter taking over, and he looks like he's going to win many a Gold Glove too.
Kirby Puckett, the great Minnesota Twin Hall of Famer, here yesterday, spending some time in the clubhouse, talking with the Twins. Great to see Kirby, always with a smile on his face. A diving step by Minkevich. He'll feed the pitcher. Got him! In time! And that preserves the tie. Minkevich, talking about Gold Glovers, lays out on the turf for a magnificent stop. And we're still in a 2-2 tie.
On Thursday, 7th inning, bad news for the Cardinals. Scott Rowland gets into a collision with Alex Cintron. Rowland out 10 to 14 days with a sprained shoulder. How big of a hit is this, Jeff?
Well, they say 10 to 14. I don't think it's going to be that long. But if any team can overcome adversity, it's the St. Louis Cardinals.
You got that right. John Miller and Joe Morgan with the call. That one starts 7:30 Eastern on the ABC Family Network. Fellas, back to you.
Well, that's right. It takes 2 men to do that game. It takes 3 men to do our contest here in Minnesota. 2-2 tie. The A's and the Twins. Minkevich really pumped up after his brilliant defensive play.
When you make a play like that, that saved the run. Kept them tied, and now you're leading off. And so, usually when you're coming up to the plate, you don't want to show all that much emotion, but they realize the importance of today's game. They've got to have it today.
Well, he's the man who has vowed that Oakland will not be celebrating on this field at the end of the day. Minkevich, a college star at Florida State, a U.S. Olympic gold medalist in Sydney 2 years ago. And before that, he went to Miami's Westminster Christian High School. He lived about 3 blocks from the school, so all of his teammates used to hang out at Doug's house, including a young Alex Rodriguez. one of his teammates. And he says that about 2/3 of A-Rod's wardrobe in high school was stuff from Doug's closet. And he said, I was always giving him lunch money. Can you imagine that now? I was giving A-Rod money. But they go back a long way. 154 in the division series, trying to bring that up here. He is 0 for 1.
You know, the best thing I liked about when he won that Olympic gold medal, Dave, as you mentioned, he hit .414, and he had 2 game-winning homers during that. But you know what his comment was? He says, nobody's going to remember what I hit. They remember that we won.
Swing and a miss. An all-out cut. You see Minkiewicz, like another outstanding defensive first baseman, Mark Race. He goes without the batting gloves. The bare-fisted look.
That's a little easier to do when you have a controlled climate.
Yeah.
Gracie's out there sometimes in April at Wrigley when he's got a controlled climate now, though.
The pitch up the middle and a base hit. And he's heading towards second. He took a big turn now back to first base. Minkiewicz putting pressure on Long there in center field. Well, he made the great defensive play, and now he leads off the fourth with a single.
And that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, you know, hits this ball right up the middle, and if you're thinking about maybe making this a double, the only way you can is to come out of that box, run it. And he comes out of that box, and he's going to try to put the pressure on Terrence Long to make a play.
So Minkiewicz aboard. And the last couple of innings, Hudson is starting to get touched up. Kadire is 0 for 1. He's lined out to center.
That's another one of those situations, Tony, where statistics don't tell the whole story. Minkiewicz on the year, 260, just 10 home runs, 64 RBIs. For a first baseman, you got to make a change, right? No. Big hits, big plays, a lot of wins.
Kadire misses again on the cut, and he's in the hole 0-2. Just 49 regular season games for Kadire after they call him up from the minor leagues.
He's another one of those guys, Dave, that the Minnesota Twins, their general manager Terry Ryan, they just keep coming up with. They have done so much with guys that signed their first contracts with the Twins.
The roster loaded with homegrown talent. That's how they've gotten this far. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Boy, Hudson dispensed with him in quick fashion, and that's the first down in the inning.
Tony, a little inexperience coming out again?
Once again, I think so. I think guys are just anxious, trying to make something happen. Hudson down in the zone. There's not very much you can do with that pitch right there.
Take it.
And so take it.
You've seen a lot of splits and change-ups. Hudson will throw both of them, but the guys that have had success recognize that pitch. They're not trying to pull it, and they're able to either take it or foul it off.
Gardenhire talked about before the game today, he wanted them to be aggressive, but aggressive in the strike zone. Balls that they can handle.
So the hot-hitting catcher, A.J. Przinsky, will step in now with a runner on and 1 out. He singled in the third, so he is 6 for 10 in this division series.
There's another guy signed his first professional contract with the Twins. Torrey Hunter, Radke, Jock Jones, even their closer, Eddie Godardo. What a job they have done from within.
I think that's the old-fashioned way.
That was, to me, always the key to success with Tom Kelly, the manager here for many, many years before Gardenhire took over. There were 3 things. First of all, you had to hustle.
Right.
If you didn't hustle for him, you didn't play.
That's exactly right.
You had to pitch, which means you had to throw strikes. He didn't care about strikeouts or whatever. Throw a strike. And you had to play defense. And you know what? They're reaping what Tom Kelly left here right now.
I agree. I just think that more clubs have gotten away from building their organization from within. Going out, drafting the players, teaching them how to play the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Inside for ball, and Ronnie Gardenhire in his office before the game. But a funny story yesterday, he said Tom Kelly was in the clubhouse and the advance scout came up to him and said, hey, you got any words of advice for Gardenhire? And Kelly said, he's going to game 3. He's got him in game 3. He doesn't need any help from anybody. He's doing just fine.
But Gardenhire said that, I said, you talked to Tom during the season? Yeah, he'd call me from time to time. He said, always to tell me something I did wrong.
Minkevich at first base and a toss over. And he says Kelly is always very respectful. The first thing he'll say, call up every once in a while, and he'll say, this is just a suggestion. This is just a thought. And that's how they begin the conversation. But why not rely on someone like Tom Kelly, who many believe was the best manager in the game when he managed the team?
I mean, you remember this club, this same group of guys, he used to bring them out here after games and make them practice and learn how to do things the right way. And it's really paid off.
Brzezinski tried to lift and knock that one out of the ballpark. He missed it 1-2.
I thought Brzezinski was really one of the keys to that third inning. Working the count like he did, along with, even though Rivas made it out, it took a lot of pitches to get that done, and eventually Ortiz was able to hit that double to tie the ball game up. On the same hand, the long at bats in the top of the third for the A's by Durham and Hatterberg set up that homer by Tejada.
Right. And that's really the name of the game that they're playing right now. It's kind of like two teams driving down the field but can't score. They'd have to punt. Right now they're battling for position because sooner or later both of these teams are going to have to get to the bullpen.
Tied at 2 in the fourth. Brzezinski gets a piece of it. So he is still swinging. Luis Rivas due to hit next unless Brzezinski hits into a double play.
Tom Kelly saying last year when he had Paul Molitor on his staff along with Jerry White, two of the best base runners ever. He said, you know what, we implemented a drill. Take a look at Minkevich here. Watch what happened. He sees the ball down. Look at that little crow hop he took. Nobody takes the extra base on balls in the dirt any better than this team does. Why? Because they practice it.
Over the shoe tops for ball. And now it's 2-2. I'll tell you what, Hudson has certainly labored the last couple of innings far more than he did in the first 2 innings. Well, he started the contest by getting the Twins 1-2-3 in the first inning. Gave up a hit in the second, but nothing came of that. But in the third inning, he had to work his way through 7 hitters. He gave up 2 runs, 3 hits. And now this is turning into a long inning for him. And it's just the third batter in. Great eye by Brzezinski, and it's a full count.
And the pitch count continues to go up.
He has thrown as many pitches only into the 4th inning of this one as he did in all of Game 1.
And don't forget, that was just 3 days ago. This is the first time all year he's pitched on less than his normal rest.
And so let's see if Juan Gardenhire decides to try to get some action going here if he lets the runner go 3-2.
You have to.
He's running. Foul away down the line. Stoked by Brzezinski. And with Minkevich on the move. But he hit it foul.
Well, the only thing that can hurt you, to me, when you're going to send the runner with a 3-2 count is that line drive right at somebody. And that almost happened there. Almost happened to be a double down that line.
Tim Hudson doesn't want to see much more of this hitter today. Brzezinski in his 2 at-bats has seen 14 pitches.
He's had 2 back-to-back really good at-bats here. He's given his teammates plenty of pitches to see.
The 3-2, the runner goes, and it's ball 4. The Twins are building something in the 4th inning off of Hudson. The batter will be Luis Rivas. Tejada to talk it over with Hudson.
Tony, we've seen a lot of guys from Minnesota settle down here this afternoon. Guzman with the RBI. Ortiz has done some things. What does Rivas have to do?
Same kind of thing, I think. It's the difference here is now he's hitting with 1 out. And so with 1 out, you're going to have to try to get a base hit. You're going to have to try to be patient, try to get a ball that you can handle. Where the other times when he was hitting, most of the time they were bunt situations. We were kind of surprised that maybe he didn't drop a bunt down, get a guy in the scoring position. Now he's hitting with 1 out. He's going to have to try to get a base hit.
Hudson struck out this man the first time they met. That's foul tip for strike 1. He tried to check, but he got a piece of it. Rivas, 2 out of 9 in the division series. The Twins trying to get a lead.
You can tell how anxious he is because even when he takes a pitch, this last pitch he saw, he didn't want to swing at that pitch, but he foul tipped it.
Well, he struck out yesterday in his first at bat, hit into a double play in his second. He popped up to the pitcher in his third at bat, pinch hit for in his fourth at bat, struck out here again in his first at bat today.
The 0-1 pitch, he buried it into the dirt. The 1-1, 2-on. The Twins facing elimination. They have to win, but they have not led since the end of the first game, which they went on to win 7-5. Lost yesterday 6-3. Never had the lead in that one. Miguel Tejada's 2-run homer got Oakland in front this afternoon here in Game 4. Minnesota has tied it. Ground ball to short. Tejada goes to third and he throws it away. Here comes Minkiewicz in to score. Now that ball looked like it skipped into the dugout from here, and if that's the case, and Gardenhire wants to know, why isn't Przinsky being allowed to score?
I think what he's saying is that by the time this ball went in the dugout, Przinsky hadn't gotten to second base. That's the only argument I can see.
We'll take a look. Jerry Crawford telling Gardenhire they'll stay at second and third at the top of the screen. Let's see if Przinsky is into second base when it goes into the dugout.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is at second base.
I tell you the one thing about it, though, Jerry Crawford could not have seen that. He was watching the throw in the bag. Jerry Crawford's not looking. Look at what he was looking at. He couldn't have told you what was going on behind him. I think he might have asked for help in that situation.
Well, the Twins take the lead. The error by Tejada. Second and third, one out, and the batter, Jock Jones. Finally, Minnesota has a lead, although they think it ought to be 2 runs.
That's the second time this afternoon that a ball has gotten away from Tejada on the throw. We remember when he overthrew Hudson at first base on what should have been a double play.
Jones in the game has struck out, and he has doubled. Check swing, kicked off by Hernandez. Here comes the run, trying to score. Przinsky will. On a wild pitch, another run for the Twins. They lead it 4-2.
Nobody does it better. Last year in spring training, Tom Kelly implemented in spring training a workout just designed for everybody to learn that. Take that extra base, and because of that in spring training last year, again this year, they pick up a big run and now have a 2-run lead. There it is. Look at him down there. Look at that. He's looking for it. Now I got to go. You got to pick up the baseball. They want to take that extra base, and they're not afraid to take a chance, Tony.
And that was excellent. He was walking down the line. You land on your right foot. You see that ball get away. You push off. You go to the plate.
So the A's have gotten sloppy. An error and a wild pitch in the inning. The Twins up. Oakland's infield is in. Rivas at third base. And that one hit him. Jones gets drilled by the pitch, and he will take his base. And now Hudson seems to be coming a bit unglued. First and third with 1 out.
I think it's all about the at-bat with Przinsky. He made so many good pitches, was not able to get an out. Eventually he walked him, and now he doesn't know where he can throw the ball to get anybody out.
Lilly, the left-hander, loosening up quickly now all of a sudden for the Oakland A's, and Peterson is marching out to the mound again. Rick Peterson, the pitching coach. 4-2 Minnesota. And you know what? There's only been 1 hit in the inning. And they've scored twice. An error by Tejada. And that's twice today that Miguel Tejada, the MVP candidate, has overthrown a man on the corner at first base, and he's done it again at third.
Yeah, it's not really all Hudson's fault either, because this should have been an easy play. You've got it right in front of you. You just throw it 40 feet, and it's an out. But when you airmail Chavez, there's not even anything he can do. I mean, if you bounce that ball, he probably comes up with it.
Well, you know, if I'm Ron Gardenhire, I still might be arguing that call, because from the field of play, if a ball goes into the dugout, it's 2 bases. And They've scored one of those runs already, and if they don't get this other run in, I mean, I don't know if I would let it go.
Well, you're not going to get the crew chief to ask for help, though.
No.
And that's who Jerry Crawford is.
Here's Christian Guzman. He has grounded out twice, but the last time he drove in a run with a chopper to short. First and third, one down, and 2 runs in for Minnesota. And the only hit in the inning was Doug Mientkiewicz single.
Yeah, I agree with Rick. I think Krasinski's AB, seeing as many pitches as he did, has really set up this whole inning right here.
Yeah, and there have been a number of 7 and 8 pitch at bats. There have been 3 or 4 of them by the Oakland hitters, and in particular, down low in the order, 6 through 9.
Yeah, Hudson's already in the 80s now with his pitch count, and we're only in the bottom of the 4th inning. It isn't like we're in the bottom of the 6th or 7th.
Guzman, a switch hitter, takes a strike. And that's 86 pitches for Hudson.
As you can see, from the 3rd inning on, his pitch count has really started to explode. And so now Ted Lilly's up in the bullpen, and he's probably going to see some action today because they're not going to let Hudson just go out and throw more than 100 pitches.
Yeah, not on 3 days rest.
3 days rest, exactly.
Jones and Rivas leading. He flirted with a bunt. Guzman pulled it back in time. 1-1.
I think here's another spot where Guzman can just hit a ball on the ground. Not many people can, but he's going to have to hit it hard on one hop to turn a double play with his speed. You don't turn the double play, you pick up another run.
And I'll tell you, a good play for him because of his ability to bunt is just a simple drag bunt to the second baseman.
A bluff again by Hudson, and the runners get back.
I think that's all by design. I think Art Howe has sent in both of those pickoff throws. We know that Hudson will do it a lot on his own, but he's trying to give Lilly even more time to get ready if Minnesota's able to do more damage.
The Twins looking to tie the series at 2-2 and force a game 5. And he was trying to bring it with him, Tony Gwynn. He was trying to drag it. But that time flicked it foul, but he had bunt on his mind.
And it's a good play because if you can get it down, the run's going to score, the runner at first is going to advance to second, you're going to do your job and knock the run in and give the guy behind you a chance to drive in another one.
The Twins looking for the big extra base hit. They finally have a lead. Their first since game 1. A couple of more runs would be huge. Bloop foul. Guzman not bunting that time. And they count 1-2.
Hudson paying a lot of attention to Jock Jones, but Tony, I'd be really surprised if he took off here. If you were to get thrown out, now there's 2 outs. You get Guzman out. The big boys don't come to the plate. I think you got to stay put there and just hope that Guzman doesn't hit into a double play.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I just think he wants to, if he can do something to have him take his mind off of Guzman at the plate. He's going to bounce around a little bit over there, but we're going to put some faith in Guzman that he can put the ball in play.
Hudson comes homeward. Tap to Hatterberg. He's coming home. And now Rivas scores. He got around him. Bobbled at the plate by Hernandez on the throw by Hatterberg. It is 5-2. They had Rivas dead to rights at the plate. But Hernandez bobbled the throw.
Tony, you take that speed and you make the opposition look silly. Hatterberg hesitated when he got it. He couldn't make the exchange. I think he was shocked that Rivas was coming. And then the bad throw. Look at him hesitate there. He was in disbelief. I mean, there's not a whole lot that Ramon Hernandez can do on that throw with that glove other than just block it.
Absolutely. And he did a nice job of keeping that ball in front of him.
And look at the look on his face. Hudson coming out. Hernandez with a glare there for Hatterberg. 2 errors and 2 wild pitches in the inning. 5-2 Minnesota. The left Left-hander Ted Lilly comes out of the bullpen. His numbers for the regular season, a 4.01 ERA. He replaces Tim Hudson, who cannot get the second out here in the 4th inning. But the A's have been tremendously sloppy, very much like the Twins in Game 1 when they made 3 errors, 2 of them in the 1st inning. Well, Oakland has been awful here in this inning. They've committed 2 errors. There's been a hit batsman and a wild pitch. Only 1 hit in this frame. Swing and a miss by Koski. Runners at first and second, and just the 1 out. And only 1 ball has left the infield in this inning, but Minnesota has scored 3 times.
The Twins were looking for a break, for an opportunity, put some runs on the board. And they've got it this inning, and now they got a chance to add on, and they really need to.
Wide to Koski. He is 0 for 1 with the walk. It is Game 4 of the division series. The Oakland A's and the Minnesota Twins from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oakland up 2 games to 1, but the Twins, capitalizing on a lot of mistakes by the A's here in the 4th, have taken a 3-run lead in their bid to stave off elimination. Fouled off to the left and out of play.
I really do, Tony. I agree with you there. I think it's big that they put some more runs on the board here. You got a guy that's normally a starting pitcher on the mound. You got one of the aces for the Oakland A's out of the ball game already here in the 4th inning. The crowd is still on their feet. You don't want to let this thing settle down because of the firepower Oakland had.
And this is where they took advantage of the A's in Game 1 when Lilly came in. You had left-handed hitters hitting, and they got some base hits.
Koski lines it up the middle out of the reach of Ellis. 1 run in. Guzman heading into 3rd. He pulls up there. It is 6-2.
Just good hitting by Corey Koski. Takes this ball right back up the middle, and then watch how the Twins run the bases. Guzman flying around second base, got to 3rd easily.
I'll tell you what, Al Newman, the third base coach, had to almost grab him to stop him. They want to keep going, boy, and if you don't put that stop sign up, they're going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that name, Corey Koski. A.J. Przynski. Look at Al Newman. All right, get going. I know you're going to score. All right, I'm thinking about it. Whoa! I know you want to go. I'd like to have sent you, but hopefully we'll get you there.
That brings up David Ortiz. But Jock Jones flying home with a 6th run. Charged that to Hudson. Koski with his first RBI today. Ortiz 2 for 2. He doubled in a run in his last at bat. The lefty misses wide.
How about the 4th inning for Doug Mankiewicz? He's my MVP. Oakland was going to take the lead without his defense. He got what seemed like just a meaningless little single to start this inning. Huh? Meaningless meant 4 or more.
A strike at the knees on Ortiz. Torrey Hunter will bat next, and then if the inning is still alive, Mankiewicz, who started the frame with that seemingly meaningless base hit, which meant a lot as it turned out, would bat again in this 4th inning. 1st and 3rd, 1 gone, and a swing and a miss by Ortiz. But you know what? The inning ought to be over. Ortiz strikes out for just the 2nd out. But the inning ought to be done, if not for all the mistakes by the Oakland A's.
I was going to say, Tim Hudson really didn't do anything wrong.
No.
You know, his defense, which has been there for him all year long, they're the ones really that let him down as opposed to him letting the team down.
Torrey Hunter now is the 9th man to swing a bat in this inning for Minnesota.
You know, the baseball world doesn't know some of the guys that we have mentioned, the Eric Miltons and the Eddie Guardados, but tell you what, they know Torrey Hunter. Yeah. First Twin voted to the All-Star game since 1995. That was Kirby Puckett then. And then when he went over the wall and got that homer, or what seemed to be a homer off Barry Bonds' back, they know him.
Well, I know Barry knew him before that, but that's a fine way to reintroduce yourself. Steal a home run. And that produced, I thought, the top moment. Barry going over and picking him up. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that'll make the seats off to the right side. So a bust-out inning for the Minnesota Twins. This 4th inning started with Hudson on the mound, and the game tied at 2. Now the Twins have a comfortable lead. They may not be done building that lead, and it started with Minkevich, the man in the on-deck circle, with his single. He's 1 for 2 and has made a wonderful defensive play, which also saved the run. Lily's 1-2 pitch in tight.
You know, Tony, a couple innings ago, you mentioned how quiet a hitter was, and I'm watching that on every hitter now. And I'm seeing Torrey Hunter just, he just bounced. It looked like a little bit more tension there than what he needs.
It's like he's squeezing that handle to turn it into sawdust when he's standing there holding it. And now that they've gotten the lead, you would expect them to relax a little bit.
That one skips away from Hernandez. Here comes the run. Another one in. That's all the way up the third base line. And Koski is into third. 7-2 Minnesota.
I think they're going to send Koski back to second. Because really, it's a good play by Ramon Hernandez. He let that ball go into the dugout. If it goes in the dugout, you only get 1 base.
That's right. It did roll into the dugout. And so Koski will be sent back to second base.
Because Hernandez didn't break on this ball right away. And Koski did a great job. He just put his head down and kept on going.
Well, Hernandez doesn't break right away, but take a look at Minnesota's base runner. They are off and running, okay? You score easily on that ball. But after that play, Koski, he not only wanted to get to third, he had thoughts of coming home on this ball. There's Hernandez. Take a look at him. Here he comes. Look at Newman. I mean, I was thinking, well, maybe we will here.
But it disappeared from our view, but it did roll into the dugout. And so Koski sent back to second, but Guzman getting some refreshment in the dugout. Swing a shot out to left center field by Hunter. That's going to bring in another run. Koski can score. Long falls down, and Hunter races to second. Another run in. 8-2 Minnesota. The fans in the Metrodome thinking, we want Game 5.
Got that foot down.
Yeah, he did. Nice swing. And he had his mind made up. He was going to go for 2. Terrence Long does a nice job of cutting it off. Now watch the emotion.
A 6-run inning, and the Twins have batted around. Here's Minkevich. A disastrous inning for the Oakland A's. 2 errors, 2 wild pitches, 1 hit batsman, and it all comes unraveled. 6 runs, all unearned. And the Twins leading by a half dozen. Loop shot, that'll find a home. An RBI single. Hunter scores. 9-2 Minnesota.
Dave, Tony, he said it wasn't going to end here, and he's having a lot to do with that being Doug Minkevich.
How about the inning he's had? A diving stop, starts the inning off with a base hit, hits for the second time this inning, and gets a base hit and an RBI.
He drives in Torrey Hunter. 9-2 the Twins, and indeed Doug Minkevich vowed before the game, he said, we will not let them celebrate on our field. We are going to make them go back to Oakland.
Well, think about it now, they got the lead, but Minkevich is still bouncing off the bag like he was at the start of this inning. Looking for a ball in the dirt. Any kind of bad hop, he's going to take off and go to second. It's a real credit, really, for them to continue to play the game the way they played it all year long. They haven't been intimidated at all. They just kind of settled in and started to play their style of game.
Godiah with a swing and a fly to left field. David Justice beneath it. That ends a resounding inning for the Minnesota Twins. Facing elimination. They blow the game open in the 4th inning in the Metrodome. At the end of 4 in Minnesota, the Twins lead it 9-2. Demanding more baseball in the Metrodome after today, and they're counting down the wins to what would be a 3rd World Championship for the Minnesota Twins. Doug Minkiewicz with 2 hits in the same inning. He also made a wonderful defensive play that ties a division series record, those 2 hits in the 4th inning. And Minnesota jumping all over the Oakland A's. Certainly the A's burying themselves with a slew of errors. Here's Ramon Hernandez. On to the 5th inning we go, and he pops it up. Milton is calling for it on the mound, and right there on the hill he takes it for the out.
Like Milton wasn't going to take any chances here. He was going to make sure they got the out.
2 errors, 2 wild pitches. There was also a hit batsman in the inning, leading to 7 Twin runs. They brought up 11 hitters. As it turns out, 5 of the runs unearned. Tejada with a key error as he put one right over the head of the 3rd baseman Chavez on a short toss. But Minnesota kept the pressure on, and after all the mistakes, then a bunch of hits.
Yeah, and that's what good teams do. You give the good teams an extra out in an inning, and I'll bet you they'll cash it in more times than not, and that's what the Twins did.
Ray Durham over 2. He is struck out and fly to center field. Today's crowd even better than yesterday. Certainly larger, 55,960. That is the new franchise record. So the last 2 days they have set new club records in the Metrodome.
And I'm sure that Ron Gardenhire is going to keep an eye on Eric Milton here too.
Now Milton not long off of knee surgery for torn meniscus, which in Rick Sutcliffe's day was torn cartilage.
Sore knee.
Or sore knee.
Yeah. That's more like.
Tape it up. Fastball in for a strike.
You know, I am thrilled for the baseball fans and the players here in Minnesota. What a year it's been for them.
It has been. It really has.
They deserve this.
Yep. The franchise on its deathbed. And you come in here today on a Saturday afternoon in October, and you're talking about almost 60,000 baseball fans getting to decibel levels of 107. America's heartland, and the Twins looking to go to the West Coast for tomorrow's Game 5. Fouled off by Durham. Scott Hatterberg up next.
You know, Tony, I think we both agree that, you know, contraction. I mean, you just, as a player, former players, you can't have that.
No.
There's too many jobs that were involved there. And some of the jobs I'm thinking of right now are the minor league instructors for the Twins and the development that in time they put in putting this product on the field.
Fly ball by Durham. Torrey Hunter fading back. Plenty of time to get there. 2 out.
It's one thing to draft talented players. It's another thing to put them into your system and have them turn into what they have now.
Folks, don't miss the extreme illusions of Chris Angel in an all-new original special, Mind Freak, premiering Sunday, October 20th. That's part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family. Rick Sutcliffe, Tony Gwynn, Dave O'Brien. It is Game 4 of the Division Series. And it is turning into a Minnesota rout of the Oakland A's. Scott Hatterberg has doubled. He's walked and scored. He's done just fine at the plate. But he also made a throwing mistake as part of the 7-run inning that the Twins piled on. His throw to the plate, skipping to Hernandez, who could not haul it in. Tejada made an error. The wild pitches were deadly as well. And the Twins look very, very accommodating and fouled away.
I'm thinking that the unearned runs and errors for the Minnesota Twins might be a thing of the past. They are. I couldn't believe the confidence they had this morning, Tony.
Well, yeah, I could, because I think, they learned a lot in yesterday's game. And I think the first thing, and a lot of guys were talking about this morning, the first thing they learned is they got to relax. You cannot play this game tense. You can't play this game nervous. And even if you are, a couple of pitches into the game, you're going to learn to relax. And I think they came in today's game a lot more relaxed than they were yesterday. They knew what the crowd was going to be like. They knew, what was going to have to happen for them to get a lead and take this to a game 5. And they understood the pressure, and we've seen they've answered.
When we go back to the top of the first game of the series, the A's have not scored. Eric Milton.
Miguel Tejada on deck. A fly ball well hit to right, but Kadire now begins to back up to the track. He sees it, and the side is retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Milton. He had a long wait before he had a chance to go back to the mound, but he zipped through it. A 4th inning explosion brings the Twins to a 9-2 lead over the Oakland A's here in Game 4. Major League Baseball playoffs continue tomorrow. The Diamondbacks and the Cardinals. Game 4 if necessary. That's on ABC Family, 1 o'clock Eastern. The Twins and the A's. Looks like for all the world, Game 5 is going to be necessary on ABC Family or ESPN2. Braves and Giants at 4 Eastern. That would be Game 4. Also the Angels and the Yankees on Fox if necessary. That would be Game 5 at 7:30 Eastern. And that's all coming up on Sunday. And that's with a whole lot of baseball left today.
There is a lot left, but I got a feeling during the break, the fans in Oakland started looking for those Game 5 tickets that have them.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that they're going to make them play a Game 5 tomorrow. Being in Minneapolis, they're going to make them fly home. We don't know what time, but if there is a Game 5.
Fly to left by Przinsky. Tagged it pretty well, but Justice reaches up for it. 1 gone.
That's a lot to ask for 2 teams that won their divisions and earned the right to be here, to fly, not give them a day off and make them play the next day.
Likely to be Radke against Mulder. Now, at this point, are you going to dare sending one of those or both of those starting pitchers on ahead of the club? Would you even think about it?
I didn't see Radke before the game, but we know Mulder's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think we started this game at 12 o'clock today, so it's not like we're gonna get home at 1 o'clock in the morning or something for a 1 o'clock game. Maybe.
Here's Radke in the middle of your frame. Ribas hammers that one into the turf, and Tejada guns him down.
Well, and we know too that these teams aren't going to go to the airport and be patted down and go through security and all that. They're going to get on a charter. I mean, it's going to be one of those 45 minutes after the last out.
Absolutely,
boys.
Yeah. You're right.
Got to fly to Oakland. Jock Jones will hit here with the bases empty, 2 gone. That's the way it's looking right now anyway. It is a comfortable 7-run lead, but it is also only the 5th inning. And the A's, as everybody knows, with the potential to explode, get right back in it. Jones pops it up. Ellis doing the breaststroke will make the catch. They go 1-2-3. It remains 9-2 Minnesota. Tejada, Chavez, and Dye. The Twins came into this 4th game of the division series facing elimination, but they were a very confident group in their clubhouse and on the field before the game. Dustin Moore will take over in right field for Kadire. And Minnesota with a 9-2 lead and looking like they're in great shape to force a Game 5 in Oakland. Miguel Tejada has flied out. He's also belted a 2-run homer, which, however, briefly gave Oakland a 2-0 lead. 55,960 watching this game in the Metrodome. Fouled off by Tejada. Chavez and Dye after him.
Miguel Tejada, boy, how much does he love playing baseball? The longest current consecutive game streak going now. He's played in 162 games the last 2 years. And then when the season's over with, he still plays winter ball, Tony.
Sometimes in order to get a grip on your game, you need to understand the things you need to do. So a lot of guys like to go and play a 162 game schedule and then go play some winter ball somewhere and work on their craft a little bit more.
And I'm sure Miguel feels like he owes it to people to play winter ball.
Loops that one to Jock Jones, who hardly has to move for the first down. One away in the 6th.
You know, Vinny Castilla played for years. You know, he would go back to Mexico. He says, because, you know, they're the ones that gave me an opportunity to play in the big leagues. And if they want me to play, and, you know, he talks about growing up watching other people play. Right. That's what gave him the dream of playing in the big leagues. And for Miguel to go back and play winter ball, there's other kids that dream the same thing.
Well, I played winter ball in Puerto Rico, and
Chavez with a base hit into right. He muscles it into the outfield, so he is 1 for 3 today.
And a lot of guys felt like it was important to go back and play in their native country and let people at home have a chance to see them do their thing, you know, in their particular countries. And
how much did you learn playing?
I learned a lot. I mean, I played 2 years. I played 1 year with Art Howe. He was my manager the first year. And you got an idea. I had an idea that, you know, one day he would be a major league manager because he was very meticulous about pitch counts and defenders and how they pitch you and all those things you don't think of as a player.
Even while he was
when he was playing, right? He was still playing them. And so
Jermaine Dye, the batter, with a runner at first and 1 out. Eric Milton back to work, and there's his single to right. And Jermaine Dye has had a 3 for 3 day. 2 singles and a double now.
Well, you know that Ron Gardenhire is going to be careful with Eric Milton here in the pitch count. He's a big part of not only the postseason for the Twins, if there is a continuation of that, but he's a big part of their future. I mean, this is a #1 type guy. But Tony, just like you said, you know, why are they playing a day game tomorrow? Now you got to milk Eric Milton for as much as you can get out of it, because you want your bullpen as fresh as it can be for a possible Game 5.
Because you know Eric Milton's not going to be able to pitch tomorrow.
Right.
And so you want to try to get as many innings out of him as you can to save your bullpen.
Make sure he's the only one that can't pitch tomorrow.
That's exactly right.
David Justice has popped up and flied out, but he has 2 men on now and 1 away in the 6th. The young A's have been very highly complimentary about David Justice and the leadership role he has actively taken on this team. I mean, David is a gold medal talker, and he's not afraid to share what he has learned in 13 seasons in the majors, and they've really responded to him.
You know, if I'd been to the postseason as often as he's been there, I don't think I'd be afraid not to talk about how great it is to go to the World Series or you know, win a division and go to the playoffs.
Been to the playoffs 10 times in 12 years. Grounded hard. Minkiewicz looked at second, but retreats to first for the shore out. And the runners move up to second and third with 2 away.
That's a great play right there. You got a huge target running down the baseline towards second base. You don't know if Dye is going to throw an arm out or what might happen with that throw. It's a 7-run lead. There's 2 outs right now. Why take a chance? And as good as Minkiewicz is, and you say it keeps the runner out of scoring position, look at it. He thought about it and he went, wait a minute. You know, I'm not going to take that chance right now. You get an out right here, they don't score.
That's exactly right.
He's smart.
He took a long look at second, too, and he says, you know, I probably could get this in there, but I'm just going to take the out because we need outs right now.
Fouled away by Ellis. Mark Ellis has struck out looking. He's popped up as well. But as you see, a very good division series going. Oakland 0 for their last 10 with runners in scoring position, but a base hit here could very well mean 2 runs. It would make it a 9-4 game, and if you're the Oakland A's, you are going to start feeling like you're still in this thing.
Yeah, they're just 1 hit away from working their way back into this game.
But Ellis pops it up. Rivas there. End of the inning. A Little threat for Oakland, but they strand 2 men. And the Twins on their way to Game 5, perhaps, leading by 7. Well, the A's have suffered through a disastrous inning, but it started very well as we get a peek at the game track. Miguel Tejada in the 3rd inning with a 2-run homer to put Oakland in front, 2-0. In the 4th inning, though, it just fell apart. Tejada with a throwing error. There were 2 wild pitches in the frame. There was also another throwing mistake at home plate. And the Oakland A's committing 2 errors, 2 wild pitches, plus a hit batsman, gave up 7 runs, and Minnesota blew it open to take a 9-2 lead. Scott Hatterberg and Miguel Tejada with key errors in that inning. Tim Hudson probably deserved a better fate, but he is going to suffer the loss today unless the A's come back in grand style. Swinging a high pop up in a shallow left center. Racing out Tejada, he'll make the catch. Now, Rick, you made a good point during the commercial break about the fact that the ceiling, you made several of them actually, and some of them are airable, believe it or not. And this topic of the roof, and does either side have an advantage in the Metrodome? You said no, neither side does. Both sides have looked like they've struggled with it.
But I think the big advantage is that the Twins get to play so many games on turf. And other teams come in, you might only play 3 games all year, and just not making excuses for Tejada or Hatterberg, but the ball it gets to you a little bit quicker. Those bounces are a little bit higher, and your timing just gets thrown off a little bit, and possibly the reason for those just, bad throws.
Corey Koski with an RBI single in the 4th inning. He's gone 1 for 2. And after him, it'll be David Ortiz, and all of these guys batted in the 4th inning. In fact, 11 men came up to hit in that frame. And the Twins, partially because of the turf, very good defensively. The fewest errors in Major League Baseball. They say you never get a bad hop on turf.
Tony, you know what that tells me, though? I mean, obviously, you catch the balls that are hit at you, but these guys do a lot more than that.
Yeah.
The Houston Astros led the National League in fielding percentage as a team, but those guys just make the routine play. They're not above average as far as range-wise defensive team. These guys are incredible.
And they can run. Being on turf makes them quicker, obviously, which is going to allow them to get to more balls. They use their speed very well.
Well struck deep right center, but Long has a beat on it and will make the catch. 2 away.
Just a simple little thing that looking at Terrence Long going to that part of the ballpark back in the 1st. You got to keep Oakland from scoring in the 1st. Who did it? Torrey Hunter. Yeah. I didn't think he was going to.
I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't either, and he did. And he got to it pretty easily, too.
I mean, you're a Gold Glove outfielder, and you're sitting up here with the same viewpoint. I mean, they're amazing.
Yeah, and they use their speed in this ballpark to, not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, too.
LaCroix to hit for David Ortiz in the 4th spot. So Gardenhire brings up a pinch batter with 2 out and the bases empty. In the division series, he's gone 2 for 4.
You want to get him involved. Once again, another youngster that is part of the future here in Minnesota. Former #1 pick. Minor league roommates with Michael Kadire. Both of them drafted the same round. Kadire, the 9th pick that year. LaCroix, the 50th pick. That was one of those sandwich type drafts where you lose somebody, you get somebody.
LaCroix splitting time this season between Edmonton in the minor leagues, where he hit .351, and the Minnesota Twins. He had .260 in 63 games. And another Olympic team member from 1996. He was on the United States team at the Summer Olympics in Atlanta.
It's a tough spot coming up in this organization now. He was a catcher to begin with. Sorry, Brzezinski's there. Playing some first base. Well, Mankiewicz is there. That's like what happened with Kadire. I mean, he came up as a shortstop. Sorry, we got Guzman. Okay, I'll play third. No, we got a guy named Corey Koski not going anywhere. That's a nice problem for Ron Gardenhire to have.
9-2 Minnesota in the 6th inning. Strike 3 call. Got him looking. And that's the end of the inning. But the A's have to be kicking themselves. It looks like they will lose 2 games in which Hudson was on the mound with a lead of 2 or more. Tony Gwynn, Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien, and it is Division Series Game 4. Oakland leading the series 2-1, but the Twins with a giant lead, 9-2 in the 7th. Terrence Long will start things off here against the left-hander Milton. The 7 runs scored by Minnesota in the 4th inning tied a club record for the most runs in a game in an inning as far as a postseason game goes. And last time they did that was October 17th in the World Series against St. Louis in 1987. And the Twins would win that World Series, as they would win the 91 World Series with Ron Gardenhire as the third base coach for Tom Kelly. He won that in 7 against the Braves. Remember Jack Morris on this very mound going out there and pitching 10 innings to best John Smoltz. There's Jack.
One of the best performances I can remember.
Incredible. It was loud that night. In comes Hunter. Jones comes over. Jock Jones would like to take it and does. Long flies out, 1 away.
I mean, I think if that game went 20 innings, Jack Morris was going to still be on the hill. He had that look in his eye, didn't he?
He was not coming out.
When he was warming up before that game, they asked him what music would he like to have over the loudspeakers, and he said, how about Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On?
There's some sweet music.
So they played that, and some of the Braves knew they were in trouble because Jack was feeling it.
I like the music they played before the game this afternoon. Bon Jovi's It's My Life, It's Now or Never. Well, the Twins took that to heart.
I wonder if that was Minkiewicz's suggestion, because he was the guy that really threw down the gauntlet today and said they will not celebrate. The A's will not be celebrating in the Metrodome today. He pretty much guaranteed a win. And then he went out and so far has played a great defensive game. He had 2 hits in that 4th inning uprising. He made a lot of it happen. Catcher Ramon Hernandez 0 for 2 in this game. Finally got off the schneid yesterday. He had been 0 for 11 in the series before an 8th inning single, and that was tacked on to his 0 for 10 division series against the Yankees last fall. So he's 1 for 14 in this division series, which looks like it is going to a 5th game on Sunday. Routinely hit to Guzman. That's out number 2.
Milton's really settled in and does a nice job of just throwing strikes, mixing his pitches up, keeping the ball down in the zone. And this might be his last inning of work.
Well, they've had Loesch warming up down the left field line in the bullpen, and Milton is up to 102 pitches. Eric Milton hasn't won since August 1st when he shut out the White Sox.
Yeah, but he pitched well the last couple of starts leading up to this one. The starting pitcher, you don't always control that outcome. Just the effort you put into it, and well, what a tremendous effort we've seen this afternoon. He stepped up big time. This is a legit number 1 that you're looking at.
Just 1 walk today, but that's nothing new. He walked 30 men all year in 29 starts. So superb command. Ray Durham, the hitter, he's 0 for 3.
Well, why wouldn't you put it in play with those guys behind you? That ain't a bad guy in front of you you're throwing to either.
The strike, you saw Gardenhire imploring him to continue to throw strikes, to not walk Durham.
But he's just playing catch, too. Yeah. Look at that, Tony. I mean, that was just 87 miles an hour. Just here. Go ahead.
Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Now you take it to 88.
Exactly.
You know, you just...
You don't have to try to overpower anybody right now. You definitely got the advantage, and all you want to do is throw strikes, change speeds.
Ground ball, nice snatch by Koski across the diamond, got him. So the Twins, with that 7-run lead, will come on up to hit again at the bottom of the 7th. Well, they're busy inside the Metrodome. Superheroes and also the guys packing the equipment. You think the Twins are looking ahead? Well, they are starting to pack that truck to head to the airport when this game is over. If necessary, Game 5 in Oakland, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Now, that game could air on ESPN2 if the Yankees win tonight. Right now scheduled for ABC Family, but it could air on ESPN2 if the Yankees stave off elimination tonight. It will be Game 5 in Oakland.
Just thinking about travel. I don't know where I'm going, when I'm going. Where are you going, Tony?
I have no idea.
What do you got, like 4 reservations on 3 different carriers right now? Wow. Torrey Hunter is 1 for 3 with an RBI double.
I think it's pretty awesome that the Twins had enough confidence to have that truck ready to go out there because, like I said, if the Twins win this game, they got to fly out to the West Coast and be ready to go tomorrow.
So do the A's. As Hunter sticks one into the gap. His last couple of swings have been right on the money. That'll be a single. That's how the bottom of the 7th begins for Minnesota. That coming off of Lilly, who had set down 7 in a row. Just the 9th hit for Minnesota. You'd expect with 9 runs to have like 14 or 15 hits, but if you're just joining us, Oakland really helped with that 7-run onslaught by Minnesota, committing 2 errors, 2 wild pitches, a hit batter in that 4th, and that's when the Minnesota Twins busted a 2-2 tie and made it 9-2. And this guy had a lot to say in that inning, Doug Mankiewicz.
The biggest thing now is that you want to try to go up to the plate and get a good at bat. You know, just because you're up 9-2, this isn't the time to start wasting at bats. You want to go up there with a good game plan and try to execute.
Well, they started with a good game plan.
They did today.
A strike taken. Doug today 2 for 3 with a pair of singles, 1 driving in a run. So he now has 4 hits in this division series. Hunter at first. He's not being held. Little looper. Chavez goes to the seats, but it's off into the crowd. It looks like Eric Milton is finished, and he turned in a superb clutch effort today. 7 innings, walked only 1 man, 108 pitches, and that on a knee that was barking at him his last start, but as you two pointed out, he didn't feel a thing today.
He gave them exactly what they needed. It was a strong start. He didn't give up any runs in the 1st inning, gave his team a chance to try to put something on the board.
Check swinging, it's inside, and that is so important because, Rick, you touched on it before the game, to stay away from a big inning, because that's how the A's have gotten in front 2-1.
Well, and you do that by getting the first guy out, and you really excite the crowd and your teammates when you do it via the strikeout. And that, to me, is what the postseason's all about. Power-type guys have more success in October.
Shot to right. Dive back, turning around, it sails, it is gone. A home run for Mankiewicz. He said before the game, not in our house, not in the Metrodome. The A's won't be celebrating. 3 hits, 3 RBIs. With emphasis, he knocks it out of the ballpark.
Tony, I think you might have heard me when I said last inning, you know, he only hits 260, 64 RBIs, and 10 homers. You know what? He's just not that type of player, is he?
No, he's not. But you know what? You make a mistake. You make a mistake out over the plate. That's what he can do. He did it in Oakland off Hudson and does it again here off Lilly.
And that mistake traveled 384 feet. Off the end of the bat. Dropping fast, it's a base hit for Dustin Moore. His first hit today.
Boy, they're all getting involved, and they're getting more and more confident. David Ortiz with a couple of hits and an RBI. Even Guzman, who's 0-2
who's 0-3, they have scored a run today. Now, obviously, they got on with an error, but Tony, how much confidence does it give you when you touch home plate and it counts?
Well, it gives you confidence by contributing, and that's what they're doing. They might not be swinging a bat real well, but they've gotten on base, they've scored runs, they've made plays.
Brzezinski tried to check but went around. 7 different Twins have hits today. Minkiewicz has 3. And 11 runs from Minnesota in games 2 and 3 combined. They scored just 4 times.
So as we were discussing, Ortiz got a couple of big hits today for the Twins, and really the only guy left is Rivas. He's the only one that if he could get one good at bat today, that might help him immensely going into tomorrow's game.
I'll tell you what, boy, it's like watching your son grow up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that voice gets a little deeper. And
into center, long there to make the catch. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
all of a sudden you start seeing some facial hair and you think, you know what, he's becoming a man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's happening here in Minnesota.
Brzezinski, he put a great swing on that. Lined at the center. He swung the bat extremely well in this series.
That's a tough 1 for 3 he's got.
I know, you're right.
The bat shatters on a foul ball by Rivas. Well, the 11 runs scored today by the Twins ties a Minnesota postseason record. The crowd today set a new record, 55,960.
You know, and they deserve this. And get excited because you deserve it. But reality is going to set in tomorrow when they're going to have to leave this ballpark where they have the advantage of the turf and their speed. They're going to have to go play a National League, American League West team. They're a 500 ball club on the road and outside of the American League Central, the division they played in. They're having all kinds of trouble against left-handed pitchers, and there's a real good one waiting tomorrow.
That's Mark Mulder, who has already beaten them in the series. As a club, the Twins hit fully 30 points less against left-handers. Of course, up and down the lineup, you see the explanation for that, all the left-hand hitters. And it has at times hurt Gardenhire's team. He said, look, that's the lineup that got us here, and that's the lineup that's going to take us further if we're going to keep on going. How hungry are the Oakland A's going to be in Game 5? I mean, last year they lost the 5th game to the Yankees after leading in that series 2-0. I mean, both sides obviously are going to be desperate for it. The loser goes home. But for Oakland, they certainly do not want to suffer heartbreaking back-to-back years in Game 5 when leading in each series. Fouled off to the right. In fact, it would be the 3rd consecutive 5-game series in the division series for Oakland.
I think for Minnesota, the key tomorrow is the same thing it was today. Those, not only the first inning for Radke, but those first 3 innings. Give him an opportunity to scratch out a hit. If he can put 3 zeros up in the first 3 innings, he might have a 3-0 lead.
Rivas takes up high, a runner at first.
But when you fall behind and you got a team that relies on taking the extra base and stealing bases and bunting, you fall behind 2 runs, that just basically handcuffs your strength.
I think this game was really set up from the very beginning. The Twins were facing a right-handed pitcher, which they felt very confident about.
Shot down into the corner. That's going to be a fair ball. And it bounces away from Justice. Here's the throw to the plate. The dive. He is out at home. Moore cut down at the plate. He thought he got that hand in there. But a beautiful relay by the Oakland A's. And Moore is erased trying to score the 12th run.
You talk about a perfect relay for the A's. Justice to Tejada, 1-hop throw to the plate.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was out or not.
I'm trying to see if, I think that hand got stuck and he slid it right across his foot.
Well, let's see what happened. Right there we go. Oh, he got it in there.
Like I said, I think this series was set up from the beginning because the Twins were confident facing a right-handed pitcher. The other thing, the A's don't really hit left-handed starters that well themselves.
Micah Bowie on, and we'll be back in a moment.
Miss an all-new original special, Chris Angel Mind Freak, premieres Sunday, October 20th, part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family.
Here in the 7th inning, Bowie coming on out of the bullpen. You just saw Dustin Moore cut down at the plate, but was he out?
I say safe. Only because the way he got up and argued.
He did a great job of putting that hand there and taking it back and going over the top.
But a fine relay. The play went 7-6-2 to get him.
All right, did he get the play? That's
how
all.
He picks it up and slicks it back in there.
That's huge, man. Great job by Hernandez, trying to keep him from that, getting the call.
But 11 runs in from Minnesota. The lead is 9 here in the 7th inning. Guilty the batter. He's hitting for Jock Jones.
I think this at bat right here could determine who hits cleanup tomorrow. Left-handed pitcher, you know, the question, sure, Ortiz got some hits today, but they were off a right-hander. This might be the cleanup hitter tomorrow with a hit.
Ortiz with a single and a double.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty hard for me to stick him in the 4-hole, trying to compare Bowie to Mulder.
That's true.
It's you know, I think Gardenhire's going to stick to his guns. He's going to go with the guys that brought him to the dance. And like we talked about at the beginning of this game, you know, guys aren't getting base hits, but they're taking good. They have good approaches. They're taking good swings. They're just not getting good results.
Well, today, good results, though, from Minnesota as they pile up 12 hits to this point.
Tell you what we'll do. Now that I live in San Diego and we're neighbors, we'll bet dinner on it, right?
All right.
But see, Dave, that's a win-win for me.
Yeah, I know.
Either way, I'm going to dinner with Tony.
See, knowing Rick, he's already talked to Gardenhire. He just hadn't said anything yet. So
I don't know what Tony's worried about. Tony doesn't pay for anything in San Diego.
Yeah, all right.
Crying out loud. Hasn't bought a meal there since 1985. That's his town. Down low on Kilty, and the count is 3-2.
They're good at that. More and more patience, more and more confidence for this young ball club.
I think people heard us talking about that in the beginning, but weren't really sure, you know, what we were talking about. Well, this is it right here.
Strike 3. Kilty caught looking, but 2 more runs in from Minnesota. Nick Cavich with a 2-run homer in the frame. It is 11-2. Since they broke it open in the 4th inning, it's been all Minnesota. A do-or-die game for the Twins, and they're up 11-2. Kyle Loesch comes out of the bullpen, celebrating his 24th birthday just yesterday, and he had a fine season. The youngster went 13-8, making 31 starts for Minnesota. Dustin Moore moves over to left field from right, and Kilty stays in right field for the Twins.
I was talking with Ron Gardenhire yesterday, and he said the thing that he really felt bad about was not getting a start for Kyle Loesch. He thought that Kyle pitched so well, and he said, I got every bit of confidence in the world in getting him a start. Got to feel good to get him out there, even though it's not a start. Get him into this game.
He faces Scott Hatteberg first. It is on to the 8th inning. Hatteberg with a double in the 1st inning, and then he walked in the 3rd right before Miguel Tejada crushed a line drive that skipped off the top of the left field fence and went out for a 2-run homer. And at the time, the A's had grabbed a 2-0 lead. That's a distant memory now for Oakland. And it appears the A's are going to have to go back to Northern California and again, for the 3rd consecutive year, play a Game 5 in the division series. And Art Howe hoping for a vastly different result. It's not the Yankees, after all, they're playing, but the Twins, in a clutch effort today, have come through in a major way. Hit hard to left. Moore backing up to make the catch. So that's the first out. More baseball coming up today. The Yankees and the Angels, Game 4 on Fox. The Angels leading that series 2-1. Big win for them last night, 9-6. A come-from-behind effort. And on ABC Family tonight at 7:30, Arizona trying to stay alive. St. Louis attempting the sweep. That's Game 3 at 7:30 Eastern. Again on ABC Family. Major League Baseball playoffs continuing today and tonight. And Corey Lytle, who had just a spectacular month of August and was such a big part of the A's 20-game winning streak. I mean, he just didn't lose. He didn't give up any runs. He is warming up in the bullpen.
You know, it's not always, about how you play, but who you play for. Kyle Loesch, Corey Lytle, with all of the injuries to the St. Louis Cardinals rotation, they would probably get a postseason start, but not the case here.
Tejada swings and misses for strike 3. So it looks like he'll finish his day 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer.
It looks like the Twins are going to finish the season, whenever that might be, with a pretty good starting pitcher to come back with next year. Kyle Loesch with 13 wins this year. Dave, you mentioned, just turned 24 years of age. This future is bright for him as well.
Out of Chico, California. Eric Chavez, also out of Southern California. He is 1 for 3 with a 6th inning single.
That's 94. It's a big number, Tony.
Oh, I know.
John Mabry on deck. And Mabry, who is one of the mid-season pickups, actually before that, before the halfway point, and he had a lot of big hits coming off the bench. And proved to be maybe the best pinch hitter in the American League in the second half.
I think that's one of the real strengths of this Oakland A's ball club. You're not going to notice it as much in the American League because they don't pinch hit a lot. But you've got Greg Myers, Bull down there, Mabry, Velarde we saw yesterday, Burns and Piot.
A high fly to right. And Kilty will mosey on in for the catch. And that's a quick frame for the Oakland A's. They get retired 1, 2, 3, and it's on to the bottom of the 8th. The Twins moving closer to a Game 5. Bottom of the 8th inning coming away from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Well, don't miss the extreme illusions of Chris Angel in an all-new original special, Mind Freak, premiering Sunday, October 20th. That's part of the 13 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family. Bunch of changes here for the Oakland A's. Randy Velarde is now the second baseman. Greg Myers is the catcher. Line drive up the right field line, but a foul by Guzman. Adam Piot also takes over in left field, and Mabry remains in the ball game in right.
I'll tell you one thing that's really surprising me, Tony, in this postseason, all of the great names, and really only one pitcher's duel this year thus far. Chuck Finley locked up with Kurt Schilling, Game 2 there. You surprised me? Where's all the runs coming from?
I think mistakes, really. I mean, you look at Randy Johnson said it himself. He got some balls up. He elevated some balls. Even in the postseason, these guys will take advantage of balls that are elevated. And so if you're not hitting your spots and you're not going to play good defense, these guys are going to put runs on the board.
Micah Bowie remaining on the mound, bounced that one to the plate.
It's got to be mistakes, as you say, because with great pitching, you're going to score runs and make errors from time to time, but normally those guys don't give up homers.
Exactly.
It's harder to hit homers this time of year because of the quality of pitching. Yeah. There's a lot of home runs.
A whole lot of them.
Guzman with a topper off the line. He scored a run in the 4th inning. And so did a bunch of his teammates as the Twins pushed across, largely because of Oakland mistakes, 7 runs. Only 4 hits in the inning, but Oakland made 2 errors. 2 wild pitches certainly hurt. And the game came undone. It was 2-2 going into that inning. Cut on and missed by Guzman. So he will get to the bench, a strikeout victim. And And there's one away here in the home half of inning number 8. Fans, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Go to MLB.com to bid on special autographed and game-used items currently up for auction to benefit the September 11th Disaster Relief Fund. And again, that's MLB.com.
How many times you read that this year, Martin?
71 and counting. And I couldn't get Tony Gwynn to read it.
I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to say that.
I'm over here breaking my back on disclaimers 2-3 times a week.
See,
and I know it sounds easy, Tony, but
I'm the new guy. Hey, my job is to watch what happens between the white lines. That's what I.
Sure. You know,
I try to.
That was it. He kept coming at me with, "I'm the rookie. Yeah. I'm the rook in the booth. You know, I'll even carry your suit."
Exactly. I'll carry his bag. Hey, I'll do whatever you want me to do, Dave.
I guarantee you put us under pressure.
Oh,
with that
really? That's
disseminated. I can get it out now, but with all no.
See, that was flawless. I knew you'd come. See how easy it is, Tony? Disseminated. It's in and out, and it's maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Well, it's going to be maybe next year for one of these two teams. The way things look right now, and we're going to know which one that's going to be sometime tomorrow. What a year for both of them. What two fun teams to watch. Great personalities.
Yeah,
too.
they do.
Not only players, but people.
Yeah, you're right.
And two very balanced ball clubs and so evenly matched. It ought to come down to a game 5. Atterberg with a nice play for the second out. So we have 2 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning. And here's our Reese's Peanut Butter Cup pitching summary. It was a short outing for Hudson. Although he threw 90 pitches, just 3 1/3. He will take the loss here today. Eric Milton, 7 innings. He was superb, 3 strikeouts. And that was with the Twins facing elimination, and he was magnificent.
He was.
You know, if they're sponsoring that thing, I bet there's some of those around here for us to eat, Tony. I mean, Halloween's coming up. Huh?
We got a long way to go before we get to Halloween now. It's only
you can start eating them now, though. That wouldn't hurt anything.
One of my favorite holidays, and those Reese's Peanut Butter Cups have a lot to do with that.
Oh, they are delicious, Rick.
See, these guys, Rick and Dave, they've done too many games.
That's right. It's feeling that way.
Yeah, I'll do that once a week game, and man, 11-2. Look, he found it.
That's a veteran move here, T. Huh? I'll take care of you. You're gonna be buying me dinner.
Swing and a miss by LaCroix. The bases are empty, 2 away, 11-2 Minnesota. If you're just joining us and wonder what happened, well, the short version is this. The game was tied up 2-2 going into the bottom of the 4th inning, and then the Twins exploded for 7 runs in that one frame. And the A's had a disastrous defensive inning. And it's been all Minnesota ever since. Game 5 tomorrow. They're already packing the truck outside the Minnesota clubhouse. In fact, they've been doing that for about an hour. So Ron Gardenhire about to get on the charter and head to Northern California for the 5th and deciding game of this division series on Sunday. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 1-2-3 go the Minnesota Twins. They look to wrap it up. We're heading to the 9th inning at the Metrodome. It's the Twins 11, the A's 2. For the last 2 days in this division series, they have filled the Metrodome to capacity. Today, 55,960. That's a new record, but those 7 runs in the 4th inning. That is what will do the trick for the Minnesota Twins and push this series to a 5th and deciding game in Oakland on Sunday. Well, the superhero today was certainly Doug Mankiewicz, along with Eric Milton. Milton handled the pitching chores beautifully. Mankiewicz wound up with 3 hits and 3 RBIs. And he was brilliant defensively, the Gold Glove first baseman. And the fans here in Minnesota will send the Twins on to Oakland with cheers ringing in their ears.
They're getting ready to let it all out here, Tony.
This might be their last time seeing him. So.
See, this ain't no big deal to you, all the standing ovations you got. This is exciting for Dave and I.
Mabry, the hitter. His first at bat today, and he takes a strike at the knees. Pyatt will follow him. And Loesch to the plate. Missing down low. And Rick, we're talking about this youngster, this now 24-year-old right-hander, and I mean, how for a lot of playoff clubs, he might be a guy that is difficult to pass over in a rotation. You might want to have him out there on the hill for a start.
Take a look at game 5 there. Radke on the mound again. He started game 1. Mulder won game 2. I mean, it was Radke and then Joe Mays, Rick Reed, Eric Milton today. Kyle Loesch got to fit in there somewhere, I think.
Softly hit and caught by Guzman for the out, 1 away in the 9th.
I think the most exciting thing to me, Tony, not only the great years these teams have had this year, they're going to be better next year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think both of them are going to be better. And, you know, the A's have made that step from getting knocked off in a game 5 against the Yankees to come in here and haven't taken another shot at it. They look a whole lot more relaxed, a lot more experienced. Twins are coming out here first time in a long time, and the experience that they're gaining from playing in these playoff games is going to help them in the future a whole lot more too.
No, they're both going to be better. One of them may be a champion come spring training 2003. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 11 runs on 12 hits for Minnesota. 2 runs on 6 hits for Oakland, and the only inning in which the A's have scored was the 3rd on a 2-run blow by Tejada. So Minnesota pitching has come up big. That's a strike.
I think the unknown, the other thing that wasn't talked about a lot was the fact that, you know, the A's didn't hit left-handed pitching all that well either, and this is the only guy they threw in there who's left-handed.
Deep drive to dead center. Hunter on his horse, still racing, and it's off the fence out there. And Pyatt chugs into second base with a double, so it's not over yet. An extra base hit for him. One that Hunter could not catch.
It's hard to do. Hit a ball that lands in center field and doesn't go out of the ballpark that Torrey Hunter doesn't catch. That's how hard that ball was hit. One of your old teammates up there, Tony.
Hey, Greg Myers, he's a tough competitor, veteran hitter, good hitter.
Backup catcher. So Art Howe getting some at bats here for his bench players in the 9th inning.
Bull coming off that bench for Art Howe. Hit .313 as a pinch hitter, couple of homers, 7 RBIs in that role for Oakland.
Fastball outside. Eric Milton will get the win here for the Twins. 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits in a must-have situation. And the Twins lost today, this season would have ended here in the Metrodome. Pop foul. That'll reach the stands back behind the plate.
Greg Myers is a very good pinch hitter. And pinch hitting is not an easy thing to do, but
you learned that last year.
Oh, yeah, I did. It was a good lesson because, especially now, getting into the coaching aspect of it, you got to keep guys ready. And here's a guy who's been doing it for a while and does it very well. It's just, for me, it's just hard to look at him with those white shoes on. He's just not one of those guys who's a white shoe guy.
You know what, Tony? I think as a fashion rule, though, nobody can really pull off white shoes, can they?
Well, this team's the only one just because of their tradition. But I've seen Greg Myers play for a long time, and he is just not a white shoe guy. Trust me.
Yeah, got to throw a little green in him.
Yeah, got to put some green somewhere.
2-2 is off the plate. Eric Burns on deck. Loesch looking to close this one out. 1 away here. The fans eager to celebrate They've done plenty of that today in the Metrodome. They want to do just a little more. Swing and a miss, and Myers went right over the top of that one to strike out. 2 gone in the ninth.
That might even have been a tough one for you to handle, Tony. How about a 3-2 slider down on your back foot?
Right over the top.
Easy 94-mile-an-hour velocity in that. Whoop.
So here's Eric Burns, who may be the last man to swing here in the Metrodome this afternoon, but will not be the last man to hit in this series, which is going to a 5th and deciding game. And that will be tomorrow afternoon in Oakland. Game 5 at 4 o'clock Eastern time.
You know, no disrespect meant for Eric Burns, but they want a strikeout. They deserve a strikeout. Baseball just has a way of giving fans what they want. Let's see if it happens.
It happened. And there will be a Game 5 in the division series between Minnesota and Oakland. This one is going back to Northern California. A must-win for the Minnesota Twins, carried along on a wave of 55,960 fans in the Metrodome. And this series is tied at 2-2.
Dave, just going to say, you know, the fans in Oakland need to get ready, because if you're going to top the show that the Twins fans put on, you got to go some.
I agree. I think the Twins did what they had to do today. You know, they were a lot more patient. They put runs on the board. They gave their pitchers something to work with. Eric Milton basically shut the door down against Oakland. Only gave up the 2-run homer to Tejada. They capitalized on a couple of errors. Now you go to a Game 5.
Doug Minkiewicz vowed there would be no celebration for the Oakland A's in the Metrodome, but there's one whale of a celebration for the Minnesota Twins. It is on to Game 5, and for the Oakland A's, for the 3rd consecutive year, a 5th game must be played in this series.
You know, as much as they'd like to celebrate right now, these parties just keep getting better as you get later into this month. And even though they're a young ball club, they're going to be smiling right now. Boys, busting 45.
Yep. You get you something to eat, and let's get ready to shower, and let's go back to California.
So the Twins filing in, and it's going to be some quick packing and heading for Oakland, California. Jeremy Schaap is standing by downstairs with one of the heroes of this afternoon's Minnesota Twins victory, Doug Minkiewicz. Gentlemen.
Dave, that's right. We have the man of the hour with us. What did you say to your teammates last night, Doug, about the possibility of Oakland clinching here in a celebration on this field?
Well, these fans have been through hell and back with us, and they've seen enough celebrating on the other end. It was about time we gave them something to cheer for.
And then, of course, in that 4th inning, you had 2 hits, 7 runs. What were you thinking during that?
You know, we made a good play there to get us out of the inning, and Eric Milton pitched a hell of a game. We felt that the biggest hit for us was David Ortiz, and you know, he tied the game back up. We got out of there, we shut them down, and I just kept telling them, this is our time. Don't give up. Don't give up any pitch. Don't give up any at bat, and we didn't.
Thanks very much, Doug. Back up to you, Dave.
Guys, thank you very much. And our final score, Game 4, Minnesota 11, Oakland 2. For Rick Sutcliffe, Tony Gwynn, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Dave O'Brien saying so long from Minneapolis. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night, everybody.